The Michael K. Show on Yes is brought to you by Untuck It. Shirts designed to be worn untucked. Shop now at untuckit.com.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is indeed the Michael K. Show. It's Friday. It's October 4th, 2024. Michael, Don, Peter, what an amazing Met win last night. I do not deserve the honor of starting this show talking about the New York Mets. That should go to Don.
Well, an unreal, incredible, exhilarating win. And I'm 56 years old, and I've been fortunate enough to see my football team win 4 Super Bowls. You know, growing up a Devil fan, seeing 3 Stanley Cups. Mets winning in '86 in the fashion in which they did. I don't remember 73 or 69. And then you see the runs that they made after that. But Michael, you can appreciate this, and Peter, hopefully one day you will too. Everything was hitting different for me this year because I'm watching the game through the eyes of my son who's fallen in love with the game of baseball. And to be able to watch these moments with him or showing him highlights of it, it's hitting completely different for me. And the emotional investment I have is so reminiscent of '86 when I was a young kid and the world in front of me and putting sports first and foremost in my mind just made it so much more exhilarating and so much fun. I'm reliving that now. And to see last night, it's coming to an end. You see back-to-back home runs. They can't do it again, can they? How could they do it again? But then Lindor walks. You get the hit from Nimmo, first and third, 1 out. And at that point, I'm like, something's going to happen here. And who's up? It's Pete Alonso. And I remember texting you guys, here it is. And I thought we were going to split the difference with a walk. But he does something that I just didn't think he had in him, guys. I didn't think he had it in him because he dropped the pop foul ball just the inning before. He looked like he was completely in a bad headspace. Like this is the last place he needed to be where he was mentally. But what did Joe Garagiola say in '86? Baseball is a game of redeeming features. And that's what it was. He got his pitch. And I'm watching it sail over the fence. And it's been the Mets' mantra for the last few months. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. He hit a home run. And it's been so long. It's been, obviously, since '07 when the Giants won the Super Bowl in the fashion that they did. It's unbelievable. This team is like a zombie. They will not die, guys. They will not die. It's hard to ignore how special something is going on here. So we'll get to the Phillies in a little bit. But right now, just savor the flavor, man. Things like this don't happen very often. Matter of fact, they never happen. How shocked were you by that stat? He is the first player to hit a home run in an elimination game to win when his team is trailing. That's unbelievable. And Pete Alonso did it. The guy that just couldn't get out of his own way all year long was hand-wrapped. How often does it happen in sports, guys? You are gifted the opportunity to completely change the narrative of your season, to completely change the narrative of your career. And he hits the biggest home run of his life. And the Mets move on. Are you kidding me? How is it possible that they are still playing? So you got to believe it was from 1973. The late Tug McGraw said it. And it's, oh, my God, is what is the 2024 version. But for me, an old-time Met fan, you got to believe. How can you say this team can't do something? How can you watch last night, guys, and say it's impossible for this team to win a championship? It's impossible for this team to do anything. I'm not guaranteeing it, but what you saw last night was why you watch sports and you believe that literally anything can happen.
Well, there are a few things that come to mind. First of all, Don, you just saying the oh my God thing. I mean, remember how early that song became a thing. Like, that's now taken on a totally different meaning than it even had earlier in the year, which is a lot of fun. But 2 things stood out to me. Number one, I was texting most often to no response because Don was too locked in the game. Anthony would occasionally throw me a bone. But They were so dead.
Dead.
They were so dead all day. It was Don. I said yesterday, well, the good news is they haven't looked like the Orioles. They became the Orioles. There was nothing. They could not do anything. And that brings me to my second point. Except for Francisco Lindor, who's 2 for 3. But guys, the walk to start the ninth. It's like this little thing. Michael, I don't know if you felt the same way. It's a small step that encapsulates why he's been so brilliant for this team this year. And I heard in the post game afterwards, right here on 880, in the dugout, the second Lindor walked, the entire Mets team stood up and was like, we can do this. The second you get a man on first, no one out, all of a sudden, Don, on a team that's been dead all night, that's practically a rally.
And don't forget it, Howie mentioned him when we had him on yesterday. Another catalyst is Nimmo. That was huge. That hit was huge because now you bring the go-ahead run to the plate, keep things going. So after Vientos strikes out, Nimmo comes up with the big. All the guys they need to go, but you are so right. It's just a walk, and it wasn't like he had that great of a series, although he had their only 2 hits. And then he gets the walk to kind of get things going. And Michael, from a closer standpoint, that's got to start to rattle you. You let the lead off. Now the tying run is coming up before there's even an out.
Well, just think about what they were up against. They had not scored in 15 innings, so they looked completely dead. They gave up the lead in game 2. And maybe that changed the momentum. The only 2 hits were the Lindor hits. He should have been out at second base in the first inning. The ball was dropped, and then he had a single. That's it. That was the Met offense yesterday. Then they're going up against a guy who's considered one of the best closers in baseball. He doesn't walk a lot of batters, and he doesn't give up home runs. And in that one inning, he did both. Just absolutely unbelievable. And do not undervalue the Winker run that made it 4-2 because that changed the whole tenor of the bottom of the 9th inning because you couldn't have Diaz go out and throw more pitches, so it had to be Peterson, and then Peterson gives up a leadoff single. Nothing's come easy for the Mets.
No.
They've made it dramatic, they've made it emphatic, and they have made it very exciting for their fan base. Now you throw in a great call by Howie Rose that will live forever, and the Mets fans have something to grab onto. Now, are they favored to beat the Phillies? No, they're not. But as Don's been saying this for about 3 weeks, this team has a little something because going into that 9th inning, I'd say if you polled every single Met fan alive, 93% of them said no chance whatsoever. But the walk to Lindor kind of opened the door to hope. And then Nimmo, who found out right before the game that his grandmother had died, he gets a big hit, as the guy said. And then we talked about it yesterday. There was a caller on our show, Claude. He said, watch, Alonso's going to hit a home run, a 3-run home run.
No.
And then he's going to do
a 3-run home run.
A 3-run home run. And then he's going to do something really sappy, which only Pete Alonso could do, awkward. And maybe that chef's kiss could fall under awkward. So Claude called it. And I'm just sitting there watching the TV. And my son and I are looking at each other. Did that just happen? And yes, baby, it happened. This is only what? Yesterday was Wednesday. Only 2 days after what happened with Lindor's home run on Monday. It's been an unbelievable stretch of games. Yesterday was Thursday. I'm sorry,
but that's what's so amazing about it. You've been down there before. This felt like Monday. They can't do anything. They can't get any offense. It's over. They're done. But at least on Monday, you knew you had a margin for error because there was going to be a game 2. And then out of nowhere, they were completely dead, shut down by the pitching for the Brewers. And give Quintana a lot of credit. I thought he pitched well. I mean, your zeros, but that takes your heart out. Back-to-back home runs on 2 Buto pitches, and you're down 2-0. But this team is just not rattled. And I don't know if you guys noticed it. I noticed it in the post-game interview. I noticed just how he conducts himself. Boy, Lindor's just cool, man. He's had his moments and he's excited, but boy, for a guy that hasn't won, he's got that like Messier or that Gibson kind of like, I've got the ring, guys. I've been here before, man. I know what to do. he's got that like calming attitude, and he just knows how to handle himself so well. And they've taken the cue from him. He's become such an amazing leader for this team. And there's no stat for that. You know, we talk about WAR and can he win the MVP. There's so many qualities that he has that don't show up in a stat sheet that really just makes this team go and to get off the mat. And I felt so good for Pete. And I'm not just a Met fan and my team won, but I just felt good for him. This must have been a very difficult season for him. Not the kind of numbers that he wants. I know he wants to stay here in New York, and the chances are dwindling by the day, and it could literally be his last at bat. So I know we talk about money and all the things that make professional athletes sometimes make you kind of sick and squirm, but just from the genuine love of the game, tell me you couldn't feel good for him as he's rounding the bases knowing what he had just accomplished.
And you know what gets me too about, I mean, so many people talk about how awkward he is. He's not a nozzle like most professional athletes.
No.
So he kind of comes off like every man. Why does that make him awkward? He's every man. He's not a big professional egomaniac superstar.
No. But hold on. It's totally fine. And please don't put me in a situation where today I'm killing Pete. But every Mets fan who loves him will agree. Yes, he's every man, and yes, there is something appealing about that. But he does awkward things, Michael. Last night, he made a decision. Like, if I hit a home run, I'm doing this chef's kiss thing. Like, he doesn't do nothing to be awkward. He makes choices that are awkward. You can find it lovable, Don. It doesn't make him a bad guy, but it's not simply because he doesn't have a big ego that we call him awkward.
But could it just be that he doesn't really put a lot of thought into it? It's who he is. I think professional athletes are so concerned with their image and so concerned about life after ball or how they're going to conduct themselves to be able to make money or acquire fame outside of the court, the ice, or the field. I just think he's just himself. I mean, and I always use the analogy. Aaron Judge is the guy at the pool party in the dress shirt and the khakis, having a mixed drink, talking to all the women, and there's Pete doing a cannibal. He just did. Don,
that's who he is. Don, you want the perfect example? Do you see the video of Howie on the plane?
Yes.
I mean, Pete's wearing sunglasses on the plane in the middle of the night.
It could have been because his eyes were burning. I don't think he had on the goggles in the champagne. I did notice he was wearing sunglasses on the plane.
Listen, it's honestly at this point, after that moment, I view it as part of his charm. It's just who the guy is. He's never going to be Lindor. But by the way, Michael, Lindor's a regular guy who doesn't have a huge ego and isn't a nozzle, but he doesn't do awkward things either.
But you know what, guys, and maybe I'm dead wrong about this, but, I see the reaction. I've heard it today on the station. I see it on social media. Boy, he's going to parlay this into big money. I really genuinely believe that as he was rounding the bases, his big contract wasn't on his mind. He legitimately was happy that he came through for his team and that he had his moment. He wasn't happy because now Boris is going to get me a big payday.
Boris was happy.
I'm sure Boris was happy in his office for sure. But sometimes we get so caught up in the money and so caught up in the fame that why can't there just be that genuine moment of I want to succeed here just because I want to win?
Now think
no one ever could deny the fact that he loves being a Met and he wants to win, and that's the joy that I saw him as he's rounding the bases.
It was his first extra base hit since September 19th, which is unbelievable. He's been a singles machine. He's become like almost a defensive-minded first baseman, which is the complete opposite of what he was a couple of years ago. But think about the enormity of the home run for team and for personal. How often does that intersect? I think he was definitely not going to be a Met if he didn't do anything in the Mets' loss yesterday. Now, I still don't know if he's going to be a Met. I still don't know if it's a guarantee. But he might have saved his Met career. In one swing, he saved the Met season, and he might have saved his Met career and gotten himself a contract. Might have. How many times does that happen, that the intersection of personal and team come together so perfectly? This guy, I think Joel Sherman put it out there, had not hit an important home run since April. Since April. When you look at possibility of wins and the probability of a home run, April was the last time he had a big home run. That's amazing.
And Michael, I texted Don. I don't even know if you saw the text at all. In the at bat previous, in his third at bat, I texted the group, "Here we go." And he looked completely lost.
No, but
it was a terrible at bat.
I really.
And then go ahead.
When he dropped the foul pop up, I'm like, he's shot. He is in the wrong place right now. And didn't you feel that way? I mean, listen.
Oh my goodness!
It was a difficult, not a difficult play, the netting and all, but that's a play he makes 100 times out of 100. And they were lucky they got the strikeout anyway, so it didn't cost them.
All right, so we're going to go from this unbelievable Met win, and we promise we're going to get to your phone calls and get back to it as well. But the Yankees have some decisions to make. Aaron Boone is walking to the podium right now. We want to listen in to a little of what he has to say about the Yankee roster decisions. Here's the Yankee manager. Their game one is tomorrow.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
On the Patriot thing, all right? I'm sorry. And I didn't want to be this guy. I really didn't, because I really bought and still kind of buy into the greatness of the Patriots, because I still think Tom Brady is a great quarterback. I still think Bill Belichick is the greatest coach of all time. But I'm sorry. With all of these scandals, how can there not be a yeah, but? Like, there's going to be a yeah, but. Now, every time we bring up the Patriots and their greatness and how they did something that wasn't supposed to happen in football anymore, the salary cap was supposed to stop dynasties, then it's always going to be, yeah, but Spygate. Yeah, but Deflategate. Yeah, but Spygate 2. And great job by Fox to get this stuff, okay? Jay Glazer, tremendous job to land the video. So I was looking at the comments on Twitter, and I don't know if they're Patriot fans or they're like Steve Young that just don't want to just think that everything we saw over the last 20 years is Fugazi. Oh, what can you really see from the sidelines? Give me a break. I could buy a ticket and see the same thing this video has. You just heard Steve Young say it. It's cheating. They can use that information to help them win. And if they did it against a 1-13 football team, that means they do it every single week. I'm sorry. You can't get up from it. Doesn't mean that the quarterback isn't great. Doesn't mean that the head coach isn't great. But is it just simple coincidence that they're the only team, probably in sports, that has won as much as they have over the last 20 years, have been able to figure out in a salary cap sport to be able to continue to win 8 straight championship game appearances, 6 titles?
Sorry.
That, oh, by the way, they're involved in 3 cheating scandals in that time? It's more than just a coincidence. I'm sorry. How do you get up from that? The Patriot fans can ignore it and go, oh, come on, Don. You're just jealous. We're still great. Explain it. Nobody else has been involved in these scandals.
I am with you 100%. I hate that we are in New York where it's so expected that we would want to tear down the Patriots and that we have to tear down the Patriots. But at this point, the only way you could defend the Patriots is if you're a fan. It's the only way. It cannot be coincidental that it is an unprecedented run of dominance that we've never seen in the history of any major sport, and they also have these things over and over again.
Who is the genius of the New England Patriots, Peter?
Bill Belichick.
All right. This is the other thing that drives me up a wall. That they were rogue, that Bill didn't know about it. Who do you think gets this information and twists it around into wins? It's Bill Belichick.
Yeah, because the part about him being a genius is true.
But
that part is true,
who
but he's
would
still
get
cheating.
The information? Who would get the information?
Of course it's him. What, there's some analytics department not related to him?
I mean, come on. There's the plausible deniability always where it's, hey, guys, do what you can to get information. Wink. You don't know me. Wink.
Let's hear what it sounds like.
Oh,
this is from Fox. This was the exclusive video Jay Glazer played yesterday during the pregame. This is when the Patriots videographer was caught by the Bengals staff.
But I can delete this right here for you.
Damage is done, my friend.
No, it isn't, because we deleted it.
Hold on, by the way, did you really have to have the Boston accent? Are you kidding me?
But I can delete this right here for you.
It's really. Are you serious? I can delete this right here. I can delete this right here, pal. We ain't got to do nothing about this, all right? How you like them apples? Are you, by the way, though, let me just say this, because Patriots fans are obnoxious, and I apologize to Patriots fans of my family who I love. How much does it stink to be hanging your hat on this all-time run? And by the way, if I sound bitter and pathetic because my team, let's suppose in 2007 when the Patriots were, that was the 18-0, right?
07.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's suppose my team maybe played your team, and you guys decided to leave your starters in and continue to score into the fourth quarter, and I believe the final score is 52-7. Am I bitter about that? Absolutely I am. However, man, does it take the starch out of all that history when this happens over and over again, and you have some yo-yo in a Patriots shirt getting busted with a camera. By the way, can I tell you something? You know the stadium holds 50,000 people, right? You know you could have any random person sitting anywhere in the stadium zoom in with their iPhone. How do you get busted using an actual camera with cards? Just have someone stand there with their cell phone. To be that much of a cheater and cheat so poorly.
Yeah, and I can't imagine, it's just a hiccup. For this organization, as buttoned up as they are, come on, please. And this is coming from somebody that is a fan of a team that actually beat them twice in the Super Bowl. Wrong is wrong.
Yeah, by the way,
wrong is wrong.
If you're a Giants fan, you don't even need to tear down the Patriots. You already tore them down both times you played.
But wrong is wrong.
Of course.
And this is getting a little ridiculous here, but this whole idea, Bill Belichick didn't know, but he's the one that can gather that information and spin it into something because he's a genius. He's a mad scientist. But he's got a problem because they've already got busted twice for other scandals, including Belichick himself for Spygate. You're this brazen? To try to get an inside track to beat the 1-12 Bengals? I'm sorry, man. That's just bad. And you know what? The NFL's got to do something about it, man, because they spit in your face.
It's true.
Because they've been involved in scandals, been suspended, fined, draft picks taken away, and they're still doing it. So right now, Major League Baseball and the NFL, they both are going to be competing on what they're going to do with their cheaters. And you got to do something because obviously there are teams that feel like I can cheat because at the end of the day, with the championship I can win and with the money that I can get, it doesn't matter what you do to me. Take my draft picks away. Fine me, suspend me. It doesn't matter. It's not going to stop me from doing it. So these sports have to come up with something to stop these crazy people from doing this. They're cheating. It's like they're fifth graders on a math test. My God. But I'm sorry. Listen, Belichick is a genius. I give you that. I mean, he helped my team win 2 Super Bowls as the defensive coordinator, okay? But I'm sorry. It's a yeah, but. Bill Belichick's a genius. Yeah, but look at the cheating. Patriots, what a great dynasty. Yeah, but look at the scandals. No wonder they never fumbled for 7 straight years. They were deflating the footballs. No wonder they go to the championship game every year. They got inside information. And I dare you right now, walk into a 7-Eleven, steal something. And then when the cops get you, say, I'll put it back and see if that's going to get you off. The fact that they were going to delete the video means nothing. It's too late. You videoed it. Well, we'll delete it. I'm sorry, officer. I'll give it back. Unbelievable. Yes, the 98.7 ESPN New York.
Richard in Manhattan. Richard.
Michael, the best thing the Yankees did yesterday, the best, they took 181 pitches from the Mets. 8 walks. That's good. Showed patience.
You got to get hits, though. They left everybody on base.
Mike, can I infer that Jones was batting leadoff the same reason 2 years ago Judge was batting leadoff? Get him that extra at-bat during the game?
You want to get Jahmai Jones an extra at-bat? Why?
Well, that's why he was batting first, right?
But why would you want that? That's the question.
I'm asking you. I brought this up 2 years ago when Judge was batting leadoff. Mike, the other day the Yankees got credited for 4 steals Sunday, 2 double steals. Can you talk to Manfred? That should only be 2 steals. The second guy behind the first guy running, that gets charged to the catcher's record. That's not right. So they didn't really steal 4 bases. They stole 2. Am I correct?
No, you're not correct because he could have thrown to either base. They both got stolen bases.
I disagree. I don't think you can give that. Okay. You know, the Mets and the Mets away record is just as good as the Yankees home record. That's how bad the Yankees are. That's the same thing. And there's only one team in baseball now playing way above 600. So if that happens, that means no matter what, that's what makes baseball so egalitarian. It doesn't matter how much money you spend. Most of these teams cannot win 6 out of 10 games. That's unbelievable. I think that's fantastic, and that's what makes baseball so great. And I was at the game Sunday, Michael. It's the greatest thing you can do in New York. York, going to Yankee Stadium on a sunny Sunday. I wouldn't be anywhere else in the world. Michael, I got one thing. Where they got all the pictures of the Yankees, the old timers from the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. Is there any way you can transpose their name on their pictures? I don't know who they are. I don't know what Tony Lazzari looked like, or Earl Coombs, or Lefty Grove. I don't know any of them.
Where do you want me to transpose this?
Well, I don't know. I mean, you guys are these artists should be able to figure that kind of thing
Every time that we show a picture of Tony Lazzari or Lefty Gomez, we put their name there. They let off Jahmai Jones so that he could be...
No, I think you misunderstood. You misunderstood what he was saying. He was saying if the point was to do that with Aaron Judge so you could get more at-bats, why would you be doing that with Jones?
Well, they only did it with Judge when he was chasing the home run record to give him an extra at-bat. That's not why people lead off now. Usually put a guy they lead off that you want to come back for the 5th time. They don't have a leadoff guy. That's why.
Right. So it wasn't trying to...
So what, you think he's trying to be cute and give me the back end?
Yeah, he was. He's not a dumb guy, Richard. He's smart. You might not agree with him.
No, he was trying. He was throwing it back.
You missed that one. The rest of the stuff, I agree with you.
You got to take the L. You got to take the L.
Take the L. It doesn't make sense what he said.
No,
because he doesn't even know then why Aaron Judge was leading off. He was leading off to get the extra bat so he could have 5 chances at a home run rather than 4.
But he was agreeing that it's ridiculous to have him lead off.
He did agree with you on that. Listen, there's a lot of things you could say about Richard. Don't say he misunderstands anything about the Yankees.
Verdugo.
I should transpose Tony Lazzari. And
what does that mean?
No,
I don't know what he's talking about.
I can't speak to the rest of the conversation.
Anthony, I don't know. We'll run it past. We might have to have a little hiatus. Just a hiatus.
He doesn't like our whack pack. He doesn't. Like, we have our whack pack.
He is our whack pack.
You respect Howard Stern, right?
Love him.
And they've got the whack pack.
Right.
For all the reasons they were the whack pack and Howard took them, is the same reason we take our whack pack. You don't like them for the reasons that they're great.
No. Give me a Marianne from Brooklyn. We don't have a Marianne from Brooklyn.
We do. It's Richard. I mean, it's Griffin.
You know what?
All the reasons you hate Griffin is the reason he works.
No, I don't hate Griffin. You keep saying I do. Sometimes he brings it. Most times he doesn't.
But the times he doesn't bring it, he brings it. Do you understand the point? That's
what about 2 days ago?
That's what these callers are for us. They bring a certain thing to the table.
But then when you look at social media, they don't want to hear Richard. They don't want to hear Griffin.
Is that what they say?
Yeah, but you look at social media, they want the full breakdown on why Aaron Judge is not batting cleanup. I don't know if we need to service those people.
That was the most visibly frustrated I've seen Michael for a
But he missed it. That's why we had to bring it up, because he was visibly frustrated over the wrong thing.
Dude, if you lose, you don't win if you lose. There's no win.
See, that's gold.
I don't know.
That's gold.
Yeah, that's the thing. He doesn't appreciate what makes them, I don't think, great.
Anybody can give a good call, sports-wise. But these calls are special.
Right, because you never know what you're going to get. And I don't feel that way about everybody, you know? But I think we've developed one of the underrated part of the show the last year, I'd say, Don, is the real development of, our regulars.
Yes.
And I know some of them call all the other shows. I know that. But I think it's still more special.
Do we truly have Jeff the Vomit guy? Do we? No, we don't.
Jeff the Drunk.
And also there's Jeff the Vomit guy, too.
I don't know Jeff the Vomit guy.
I'm not familiar.
He's recent?
Yeah.
Last couple of years?
I
don't know if I need him,
I
to be
say
honest.
this affectionately, that our regulars are irregulars. Yeah. And that's what makes them great.
That's right.
Let's take a brief time.
Towel out, if you want.
I mean, I almost pulled the hair out. And I can't afford to do that.
No.
What are you looking at? You don't like my shirt?
I don't know what's going on with the undershirt color.
I'm going to tell you why I have the undershirt on. Yeah. I don't need my hair sticking out.
I apprate that for sure.
Yeah, you got a Wilford Brimley thing going for the natural.
But why not a white undershirt?
Didn't want to.
Just wanted to go with a Superman.
I wanted to pop my eyes pop.
Don, it looks like he's about to just try to break into a Superman moment at any moment.
Also, you got to mention this in ENN. Another reason why Brunson's the man. Just another reason.
I can't wait.
Just another one.
I can't wait.
to ENN, everyone.
Ray Rowe.
On Tiwi.
It is brought to you by our friends over at Security Dodge.
Love those people.
I'd like to say good evening to Michael.
He's going to be here for a long time.
And to Michael.
He's been here a long time, and he's going to be here even longer.
And to Don.
The second intermission meatballs.
Mobo, who tweeted.
We love Mobo.
I guess he works for Mushnick. After we promoted that we had Bob Wischusen on. Gee, can you imagine? Their guest works at ESPN. What a get. Well, we got him on for something that has nothing to do with ESPN because the Jets are gone. So try again, Mobo. Or is it pronounced yo-yo?
By the way, if anyone wants to spend some quality time.
Nah.
No, I'm doing a live podcast tonight.
Good for you.
No way.
Oh, sure, yeah.
It's very difficult to believe.
Me and Cypher Sounds are going to be at SOB's tonight as part of the New York Comedy Festival.
SOB stands for what?
Sounds of Brazil.
Love it.
Legendary New York venue. Will be downtown. Our guests include the great Sam J, Michelle Wolf, my friend Smoke Dizza, who I know Michael's a big fan of.
Is it wrong that I don't know any of those people? But I want to?
Well, no, I appreciate you for wanting to know. I feel like you might recognize Michelle Wolf if you saw.
I know Michelle Wolf.
You know Michelle Wolf, right, Mike?
Yeah.
I know Michelle Beadle and Jenna Wolf. Does that count?
No. Right. What about Smoke Dizza?
Yeah, she's got to stop smoking pot if she does, in fact, do that.
I don't know who that is.
Wow, drugs must be great. I had a little something, little toke of the old Bubanj.
Whoever that person is, I'm sure they partake, right?
It was skunk pot.
Not skunk
drugs
pot.
Must be great.
Yeah,
high quality.
His name is Smokey. It's Smoke Dizza. Smokey. I mean, I call him Smokey.
You do?
I call him Smokey. Literally one of my favorite human beings in the world. One of my closest friends.
Well, that's why I want to get to know him. If you love him, then I love him.
I love him. One of my closest friends in the business.
So this is a live podcast?
That's right.
Is this essentially radio?
No. Live podcast as in person in front of people.
Oh, okay.
But it'll be consumed.
Not live. It'll be consumed recorded. Correct. On video, on your video or audio devices.
We're thinking about doing that with Game Misconduct, right, Anthony? Just rent out a theater and do it in front of everybody.
You know what? I hear the NHL store could be a good place for you guys to go do something. Yeah, sure.
I think we'd pull a crowd.
I think so.
Absolutely, you would. Also, let me say good evening to myself and Don. By the way, if anyone wants to spend some quality time.
Nah. That was a quick turnaround, Jacob. Good job.
Yeah. You know how they do it.
We don't see that often.
No.
That's a unicorn.
Joe Shane spoke, or as I call him, Joe Skiochane, about the Giants' great start to the season. Here's Joe Shane, not happy at 2-8.
Obviously, we're sitting here at 2-8 and not where we want to be. Nobody's happy about it. Ownership, Dave's, me, coaches, people in the building, the fans, and I understand that. What we're going to do the rest of the week is, do self-evaluation on the roster, personnel, and try to find solutions as we move forward. These last 7 games. So that's what we'll focus on this week. The guys came in, had a good day of practice today, lifted, had meetings.
Do you know one of the worst playing off, Peter? It might have been the Grammys. It was one of the last public appearances of Frank Sinatra, and they played him off. Imagine that, Frank Sinatra.
At one of the shows recently, and I don't remember which show it was, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or Golden Globes. I don't remember which show I was watching, but which I got it's on the tip of my tongue. Right when the person started talking about someone who had passed away, they started playing the playoff music, and I'm like, you got to stop playing the music. You got to pull back the music and let him go. And also, sometimes it bothers me. You got to know who you're dealing with. Sometimes they play it with someone who's so big, and I'm like, you can't play them off.
Yeah, you can't play Frank Sinatra off.
Yeah,
you can't play Sinatra off.
Can we find that, Jacob, somewhere? Because I want to know what that sounds like. Play off Frank.
It was awful. It was so cringe, as my daughter would say.
It's Frank. Like the equivalent was, for you on center stage, Michael, was it Red Auerbach?
Right.
You don't tell him to put his cigar out.
Oh, but somebody did. He laughed at him.
But
he laughed right in their face.
Fire marshal. If Don and Peter are on center stage and we're smoking, they drag us out by our
No,
hair.
they just take a huge thing of water and throw it right in the face.
One of the little secrets about center stage is I have an earpiece in my ear which connects me to the producer, and we had some pretty big stars on, and like some of them would go long, and I would get cut them off. Now, sometimes I refuse to do it. I mean, it's not a live show. We don't have to get into an hour, and it could be edited later. I'm not going to cut off, whomever. It's ridiculous.
You're not going to cut off former Nets coach Lawrence Frank in the middle of a great story.
No, I would not do that.
How dare you disrespect?
I do feel bad because I like Lawrence Frank, but if you are searching for somebody to reference on center stage that you can do that, that's the first one that pops to mind. Isn't that a shame?
Do you guys, are you interested in hearing Joe Shane being asked about if he thinks he'll be back?
Yeah, let's hear that. Yes. Get the band ready, though.
Another year free agency, another draft. Do you expect to be back here, especially if this team doesn't win some games down the stretch?
Yes.
Do you expect to be back? Mm-hmm. Have you been told you definitely will be back?
I communicate with ownership all the time. I know Dave talks about that continuously each time these questions come up. And we have a really good relationship with ownership, and we communicate constantly with them. And there's confidence in the plan.
We were able to get where we needed.
Why is it that I never don't find that funny?
I know.
And isn't it great that after all these years, things constantly evolve on the show? Up until 2 weeks ago, I'd say, I used that exclusively for Richard.
Right.
And then at some point where I was playing audio from someone who was so bored, and I said, let me just start playing them
now
out.
It's most of the audio. Hey, listen, there was me that wouldn't play audio again, but we're making it work now. We're finding the best of both worlds here. Well, that sounded genuine to me, that there's been a conversation that he's safe.
Yeah, but if they lose their neck, well, what do they have, 8 games remaining? 7?
7.
We'll see. Things change. It's fluid, as they say.
No.
Fluid.
Everything's very fluid.
But that's also got to be a part of his thought process, or how are we going to play in these final 7? But if he's got Drew Lock playing in those 7 games, and Drew Lock is awful, and you go to DeVito and he's twice as bad, what do you think the record's going to be?
All right, so let me ask you this, Don. I'm asking you as a Giant fan.
Mm-hmm.
When it's over, they're 3-14. And Mara says to Belichick, I want you back. Does Belichick take the job? Does he take a 3-14 team? Because it might be hard to break Shula's record then.
I think this is the one team he would do it for, because he has said that this is the one soft spot he has in his.
But the one thing he has left doing coaching is to get those 15 wins. That might not be easy to come by with the Giants.
No, but I also don't think that he would be, a one-and-done guy. I think that he would probably look at it and go, all right, a year of assessing, and then hit the ground running in 26, and then I think I can get to my 15 in the next 2 or 3 years and get this team back to respectability. I don't think Bill Belichick would take it, thinking he was only going to be there for a couple of years. And
well, what's the most he's going to sign, though? He's going to sign a 3-year deal. He's 72.
Sign a 3-year contract. You don't think he can get 15 wins in 3 years?
With this team? I don't know.
No, well, then he's not doing his job then, Michael. Now here's the issue. Is Joe Shane his general manager, somebody else, or is it going to be Bill for the whole shebang? I'm not sure I'd want to sign up for that. Because, listen, he's an ungodly good head coach. He's an average general manager. And it's going to take a lot of work to get this roster to the point where anybody's going to be successful with it. So I don't know if I want him to be the general manager. So if I have to give him the whole kit and caboodle, no, I'm good. But if he's willing to just be the coach, and whether it's Joe or somebody else that's the general manager, I think I'd be willing to do that.
Kick the can?
No, he's a great coach. But then you start getting to Phil Jackson territory if you start having him be your general manager. What does his resume tell me that he's going to be able to turn around a team buying the groceries?
Hey, let's ask Aaron Rodgers something on Pat McAfee.
Sure.
Aaron, what's the mindset in the room right now?
Well, it hasn't changed for me. I think you got to approach it the same every single week. When there's a lot of conversation like, oh, what are you going to do now? Like, well, you do what you know how to do. You go back to work. Preparation stays the same. Maybe it kicks up a little bit if you need to for guys that, feel like they can give a little more. But I've been doing this a long time, and the preparation stays the same. Focus stays the same. I think you got to handle it with humility. Been a lot of pies to be eaten around here this year. Flavored humble.
The one thing that
what does that mean?
Well, humble pie. Pie's flavored humble.
The flavor.
When he said, I don't feel that way. I mean, meaning others might.
Yeah, I don't speak genius.
Let me tell you something that they should have asked about next season. I mean, this season for the squadron. I don't see the drop I was looking for. So
oh, boy, you messed it up.
Yeah, it fell apart. It was there. I swear I saw it.
A lot of good it does.
I lost it.
I don't know what else he's going to say.
Oh, here it is.
Oh, here we go.
The question is this season...
Missed it.
Probably wasn't worth it. Yeah, sure. Oh, well, but by the way, actually, Aaron Rodgers responded to that. He said there's still hope.
You got to hold on to that beautiful thing in life called hope. And that's just, there's a chance. We're not mathematically eliminated. There's a lot to play for. At the end of the day, one thing that we can play for, whether we're 10-0 or 3-7, is pride. Pride in your performance, pride in the product you're putting on the field. I'm not wanting to let your coaches down, the teammates down, the guys in the locker room.
Pride comes before the fall.
One thing I saw in that team as they were losing 31-6 to the Arizona Cardinals, pride.
And the two words that did not pop to mind during that game was hope and pride.
Yeah, no.
Right.
I didn't feel a ton of pride when I was watching. I didn't see that.
And I didn't sense any hope.
When I saw players grabbing onto offensive players, having full hold of them, and then letting go and falling on the ground as they ran off, pride wasn't what hit me. All right, so we didn't get to this yesterday, but let's get to it today. As we already received the horrifying news that Dak Prescott will be out, season-ending surgery for Dak Prescott. So Cowboys got some problems, but the problems picked up yesterday when Micah Parsons was asked about Mike McCarthy, and his answer was interesting.
That's above my pay grade about if Mike is coaching again next year. All coaching aside, Mike can leave and go wherever he wants, but guys, I kind of feel bad for guys like Zach Martin and guys who might be on their last year on their way out, because that's who I wanted to hold the trophy for. You want to win games and do great things with those type of legends who put in more time and work than Mike McCarthy ever did. So those are the kind of guys that I have so much sympathy and hurt for.
Now, he had me in the beginning of it.
And then the end was just...
Because you got to play for your teammates, and don't worry about Mike McCarthy. He's not sacrificing his body. My teammates... But then...
The end was a Scud missile. Here's Micah on his podcast, The Edge, denying taking a shot at Mike McCarthy.
I never once threw... or even intended to throw Mike McCarthy under the bus. Like I said, he's one of the most winningest coach. He is a Super Bowl champ. I never once brung up his past. And the question that was asked was about here in the Dallas Cowboys, did I see Mike McCarthy in our future? And I said, that's above my pay grade. So never once did I ever intended or wanted to reflect on Mike McCarthy's career, because I always knew it was a good one. I've always had a great relationship with Mike McCarthy, and I never even put that in question. And for a guy like Rex Ryan, I just know he wanted to coach the Cowboys. Like, I'm perfectly happy that we have Zimmerman, because if we have a guy that's willing to go on TV and provide this type of nonsense, imagine what he could do to a locker room.
But he's denying what he said.
Right, he's saying his out is, I didn't intend. I never intended to. Well, you did.
But you said that, I forget what the percent was, a 10 time or whatever he said, worked harder than Mike McCarthy. Now, I guess he can spin it. Well, I'm talking about it in the weight room. I'm talking about on the field. He might put his work in, but it's not as physically demanding as it is for a player. But that's not what he said. He implied that the players are working harder than him, which then the implication is that Mike McCarthy's not giving his all. That's the way I took it. Now, I would obviously be the bad guy if I were to bring that up to him. Well, why did you take it that way? Well, why are you comparing Mike McCarthy to the players and in making the players seem like they're working harder than your coach? How is the coach supposed to take that? But listen, he's brilliant. That's a guy that deserves whatever he gets paid post-career, because he is going to be outstanding.
Micah?
Yeah.
No, he's got a future.
Micah getting a mic.
Here's Mike McCarthy responding to Micah's comments.
With post-game remarks and really any remarks, when it does create questions for others in the locker room, conversation has to happen. So Mike and I had a conversation this morning about it, and handled those things as men should handle it. But we need to just keep about football, because if we're not working on football, our opponent is an hour or two better than us already.
You know what I don't get about the Cowboys? Well, why are they starting Cooper Rush? Well, why are they starting Trey Lance?
Because Trey Lance can't play.
But they know what they have in Cooper Rush. Trey Lance was a former number 1 draft pick.
Right, so I'm assuming they know what they have in him and know that he's not any good. Now, why they traded for him, I'll never understand that. But doesn't that speak volumes, Michael?
It does, but again, they traded for him, so they think there's something there. So I don't get it. Don't you want to see for sure what you have? You know what you have with Cooper Rush. He's not a great quarterback. He's backup.
Well, then I can only assume that they know what they have in Trey Lance, and it's not good. Now, Jerry traded for him, but that doesn't mean that the coaching staff thinks he's any good. Or do they think, hey, we're still mathematically alive, and we're gonna play Cooper Rush because he's done it before, and then at some point they'll go to Trey Lance. I mean, that's a possibility because they don't want to give up until it's actually mathematical, which is probably going to come sooner than later. Especially when they play at home. The only one worse at home are the Giants. They're terrible at home, the Cowboys. God.
Guys, that'll do it for ENN.
So good.
Thank you very much.
No, seriously.
On this Tuesday evening, brought to you by Security Dodge. Shop 24/7 at securitydodge.com during their Black Friday sales event.
Don't know if you guys know this, but the NBA Cup is back. Yeah, you can win big getting in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook.
With ButcherBox, you never have to worry about what's for dinner. We deliver grass-fed beef, organic, free-range chicken, humanely raised pork, wild-caught seafood, and so much more. Get high-quality meat sourced from trusted partners with free shipping always, so you can always be prepared and enjoy the important things. Sign up for ButcherBox today.
People are always asking me, where did you get those shoes? Like sneakers, perfect for holiday shopping and bringing all kinds of joy to your world. Or cozy booties that pair well with hot chocolate and holiday movie binges. And of course, the perfect party shoes for every event on your calendar this season. Find gifts for your girls or just for you in my collection at DSW.
Switch to Square and join over 4 million businesses worldwide. Switch to fast setup and even faster checkouts. Switch to making every sale the way you want and the way they want, too. Switch to one system connecting every tool to every task, even as your business grows. Gain time and peace of mind with tools that bring everything together. Switch to Square today. Visit square.com to get started.
Team grows in Brooklyn. Block by block. Play by play. Shot by shot. We got Nets. You coming?
Recently, Congress set an annual limit on Part D out-of-pocket costs to help Medicare beneficiaries better afford their medications. In 2025, that annual limit will be $2,000. Another new benefit, called the Medicare Prescription Payment Plan, helps beneficiaries spread their out-of-pocket costs into monthly installments with no interest or fees. To sign up, you must contact your Part D insurance plan at least 24 hours before you pick up your prescription. This is important because you can't sign up at the pharmacy counter. To learn more, visit www.loweroutofpocketcosts.org.
Extreme weather and climate disasters have sadly become a reoccurring part of our lives, and less than half of all pet owners have a disaster plan in place. Unfortunately, those plans tend to forget about our furry friends, so it's more crucial than ever to have a well-packed pet disaster kit on standby with your pet's essentials. For over 140 years, the team at American Humane have been lending a hand to animals in need. Natural disasters threaten humans and animals alike, so take precautions to keep you and your pet safe. For more information, please check out AmericanHumane.org.
I started having knee pain in my early 50s. I'm Phil Simms, pro football legend and TV analyst. My knee pain would wake me up during the middle of the night. It hurt me every time I played sports, if it was basketball, tennis, and even golf. I quit being active, and it got to a point where I want to be active, and that's why I'm sitting here today.
Arthritis Knee Pain Centers uses an image-guided procedure that allows them to place an all-natural cushioning gel directly into the affected joint, restoring mobility and relieving your pain without surgery or downtime.
I think what really surprised me is how easy it was and how there was no pain to the treatment.
It's covered by Medicare and most private insurance.
I have no pain. That's gone away. And I got to tell you, I feel great. I'm back to playing a little tennis. I played pickleball, which I said I would never do. Arthritis Knee Pain Centers, they relieve my pain and change my life.
Call Arthritis Knee Pain Centers now and schedule your no-charge, no-obligation knee pain screening. Call 800-823-3160.
In New York, all that anyone is looking for is a chance. In a place with endless possibility, New York Public Schools gives students the chance to find their voice in a chorus of millions, to play their first notes before striking a chord with the rest of the world, to learn small lessons in the gym before shining in the league, to not just study the stars, but see them up close. And every time you take a chance on the New York Lottery, our schools win.
Stay ahead of your child's moderate to severe eczema, and they can show off clear skin and less itch with Dupixent, the #1 prescribed biologic by dermatologists and allergists that helps heal your child's skin from within. Serious allergic reactions can occur that can be severe. Tell your doctor about new or worsening eye problems, such as eye pain or vision changes, including blurred vision, joint aches and pain, or a parasitic infection. Don't change or stop asthma medicines without talking to your doctor. Ask your child's eczema specialist about Dupixent.
Ice Picks. Ice Picks. Ice Picks.
Now it's time for Ice Picks, brought to you by Samwell Institute for Pain Management. Islanders are in Edmonton to take on the Oilers. So I am going to go with anytime goal scorer. Why not? Connor McDavid at +120. Anytime goal scorer for Edmonton tonight at +120. That's Ice Picks, brought to you by Samwell Institute for Pain Management. For a pain-free life, visit SamwellPain.com today. Reprimanded by Wischusen on text, Michael. It's like he's hearing from his brother that I called his wife Wendy. You did that. His wife's name's Julie. So now we sound alike?
Well, I was saying Wendy because the alliterative nature of it. And I called his kids Wes and, William and Willie.
You just went Wendy Wischusen because it works.
Yeah, it works for me.
But it's wrong. And apparently I'm the one that said it.
And now you don't know your friend's wife's name.
What's happened to you, Don? Really? What's happened to you?
Bad.
What happened to you?
I've always been this way. Peter will tell you that.
Yeah, no, he's been a bad guy.
I haven't
for a long
changed.
time.
Wow, they got that ice pick up in 20 seconds on X.
They know what they're doing.
Wow.
Well, that or Anthony and I discussed this, and we know what's coming, and he can just send it out the second that it's read because there's a symmetry. There's a game plan.
All right, so I'm so done with some of the things that happened today in athletics.
Okay. Okay. Athletics.
Gleyber Torres has scrubbed his Instagram of all mention of the Yankees. Oh, what will they ever do, Gleyber? What will they ever do that you've scrubbed them out of your Instagram? I mean, really? And I'm not just picking on Gleyber. Every athlete does it. What are you sending out a message? They probably don't want you back. Doesn't matter if you scrub them from your Instagram.
No, but it sends out the message of it's just like the boyfriend, the girlfriend breaks up with the boyfriend. I didn't want to be going out. I would have broken up with you.
Exactly, but we know that's not the case.
But you know what? I can't kill the players because it makes news, right?
But what news is he trying to make?
He's trying to make news that he's being preemptive. He knows he's not going to come back, So he scrubs it. It gets out there. You, the voice of the Yankees, goes on his afternoon show and says that it's been scrubbed, and it sends the message out that maybe he's done with the Yankees. Maybe he doesn't want to go back to the Yankees.
And if the Yankees offered him $1.380, he'd come back.
Oh, well, then all's forgiven because he got his $1.80. But if he ends up signing, but he ends up signing with Milwaukee, and he'll take the Mike Williams shot on his Instagram.
There was a signing today in baseball free agency. This guy always gets a job because he's a pretty good player. Travis d'Arnaud signed a 2-year, $12 million deal with the Angels.
Good for Travis.
Yeah.
Major League of Jays.
Well, what does that mean?
The Angels are Major League of Jays. And I believe his name is pronounced d'Arnaud.
Listen, I wouldn't mind having him back as a backup catcher. I like him.
You don't like Luis Torrens?
I like...
You're more history with d'Arnaud.
Yeah, he's
by the way, more like Dar, yes, am I right? that was for you.
That might be point guard.
Well, just since we don't have to make a point guard, as we found out, just have to sound good.
No, since we're going with dad jokes, I heard one today on Instagram I thought that Peter would like. Did you hear about the superhero that had a lisp? What happened after he lifted weights? He was Thor.
Oh. Well.
No?
Sure.
No good? Let's go.
Clown show! Clown show! Clown show! Clown
Let's go to Wade in Rochester. Wade.
Michael, how are you? Another great show.
Thanks.
A little bit of background. I'm a diehard Giants fan like Don, and I know this. Back in the day, if we didn't have patience with Bill Parcells, we wouldn't have had Bill Parcells. Any program in the NFL that's good has continuity in the GM position and the head coach position, and we got two really good ones. I watched Jared Goff throw 5 interceptions. I live in Rochester, so I hear everything about our famous quarterback here, Josh Allen. And when they throw 2 picks and he throws 5 picks, nobody gets upset for one reason. They win.
Right.
So what are you saying? That Daniel Jones is good?
I'm saying Daniel Jones is better than we think.
No, well, he's not. He's worse than we think.
He's good.
6 years. Wade, 6 years. You're talking about Jared Goff, who when he was with the Rams, when Jared Goff was with the Rams, he took them to the Super Bowl. Okay, he took the Lions to the NFC Championship game. The coach lost that game, not Jared Goff. You can't compare them. Josh Allen is a legitimately great quarterback.
I think I was saying that Joe Shane and Brian Dable are keepers. I didn't say that Daniel Jones was a keeper.
Then I don't think we understand what you're saying.
I'm not understanding a word he's saying. But what I was able to kind of get through is, if they lost patience of Bill Parcells. Bill Parcells in 1983 won 3-12.
Almost got fired.
Almost got fired. And in 1984, they go 9-7 and they make the playoffs and win a playoff game. So that's the difference. Now, Dable did go to the playoffs and win a playoff game in his first year, but there's a possibility in the next 2 years combined, they might have a grand total of like 9 wins. So it's apples to wrenches, the Parcells, because now you're talking about a resume of 2 years of losing and a first year that, yes, they did go to the playoffs and they won a playoff game, but took 2 significant steps backwards in the process. So if you want to keep Dable and Shane, I think it's a fascinating conversation. You could talk to 10 experts in the NFL, Michael, and probably get 5 that think they should go and 5 that think they should stay. I think it's a really difficult conundrum for John Mara on what to do if this season goes south. But don't compare it to Bill Parcells, who had 1 bad year and then goes to the playoffs the next year. The problem is his best year was his first year. It's like M. Night Shyamalan. His best movie was his first movie. And then since then, each movie's got progressively worse. That's what's happening with Dable and Shane. Their Sixth Sense was year 1.
And it wasn't Sixth Sense.
No.
It was more like Signs.
Yeah, it was
reverse. If Sixth Sense was Signs.
Or what was the superhero one?
But I see the connection to Sixth Sense, though, because since then we found out they're dead.
That wasn't where I was going.
I like what you did there.
His best movie was his first movie.
But also...
the Samuel L. Jackson with the Bruce Willis is the only one that survives the train crash.
Oh, yeah, that one. I know. It wasn't Signs, but it was...
was it Unbreakable?
Unbreakable, that's it.
Yeah.
Now, I want to say I watched the most recent movie by M. Night Shyamalan.
Mm-hmm.
It's horrifying.
Is it as bad as Lady in the Water?
I think it's lower budget. He now makes movies that feel like TV movies. Like it's
But
bad.
still gets tens of millions of hundreds of millions of dollars.
Seemingly, it was on Netflix because it was straight to Netflix, which was probably a big.
I'm getting yelled at to break right now.
You were
break.
Yep.
Break.
Hey, Michael K here to tell you about my friend.
We're unboxing unbeatable values for your home every Friday in November because every day is like Black Friday at Bob's. And our first unboxing is complete dining sets for just $5.99. We're serving up stunning mid-century style with comfy Bobapedic seating, a timeless extendable set with your choice of finishes, height, seating, and more. All just $5.99. I know, it's emotional. So check back every Friday for a new unboxing because every day is like Black Friday when we dare to compare at Bob's.
Hi, Eric.
Hi, Mel. Is now good for a quick catch-up on your plan?
Yes, now's great.
Has anything changed since we last spoke?
You know what? Yes, I'm thinking more long-term.
Great. We'll make that change to your plan and adjust as needed.
This helps a lot.
Bye, Mel.
Bye.
Make sense of your money with Citizens.
Dear non-stick surface. You're great for scrambling eggs, but to drive on, well, that's what it feels like when things get rough. Good thing we have amazing traction. Let's bond. Toyota all-wheel drive vehicles.
Get Black Friday savings all month long. Lease RAV4 with all-wheel drive for just $299 a month. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
Untuck It makes every guy look better. From tall to short, from big to slim. From our iconic button-downs for all shapes and sizes to a whole lot more. Try us today. Untuck It. We just make guys look better. Oh, and we make great styles for her, too. Shop the sale now at untuckit.com and more than 80 stores worldwide.
Don't let a clogged gutter rain on your parade. Protect your home with LeafGuard, the only one-piece seamless gutter system guaranteed to never clog, no matter the weather. Never clean your gutters again with LeafGuard. LeafGuard's patented seamless design keeps leaves, pests, and sediment out while directing water away from your home, preventing wood rot and foundation decay, giving you peace of mind that your home and family are protected from water damage with the industry's premier maintenance-free gutter system. LeafGuard is the smartest solution in gutter protection, proudly protecting your home by getting it right the first time for a lifetime. From manufacturing to installation, LeafGuard handles the entire process from start to finish. Invest in your home with a company you can trust. Call 833-LeafGuard right now for a free estimate and save 20% plus $500 off your purchase and installation. LeafGuard, get it today, protected for life.
Everywhere but the seat. The seat is leather.
Oh, we get it. You love your bike. We do too. That's why we're America's #1 motorcycle insurer. But do you have to wedge it into everything?
What? Don't do that. This reminds me of my bike. The Wolf was about the size of my new motorcycle. Have you seen it, by the way?
Happy birthday, Grandma!
Really? Look how the brushstrokes follow the line of the gas tank. Hey! Brought my +1. Jamie.
Welcome to the Warehouse, home of Blitzball Battle 5, where the big leagues meet the backyard. Pro athletes and some not pro athletes. Hearts on the line. Games that matter just enough. On to the final! Blitzball Battle 5 premieres November 4th. Watch all year round on Warehouse Games YouTube.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching, yes,
getting clearer now, the teams that look to be in on Juan Soto. But of course, as with every client of Scott Boras, there's always the secret teams that we can't figure out. But the ones that I think that make the most sense, Yankees, the Mets, they say the Red Sox are in, the Giants, the Dodgers, and the Blue Jays. Now, there could be other teams that have the money. The Cubs have the money if they like. The Phillies have the money, so they could be in as well. But those make sense to me. And the Blue Jays have so much money because the family that owns the Blue Jays, they own all of cable in the country, not just Toronto. It's the Rogers family.
Well, the Rogers have done well in
They've
Canada.
done very, very well. So I don't think that there's any budget that they're going to bust. It'll be extremely intriguing to me, though, because the Blue Jays, before last year, they offered essentially the same deal that the Dodgers offered to Ohtani. And they didn't get him. And they probably would have offered more. But at some point, Ohtani was like benevolent and said, you know what? Don't keep doing this. This is enough for me with the Dodgers. So will Juan Soto actually take his talents to Toronto, north of the border? The Red Sox being in play. I think the Red Sox saying they're in play, now it's just a guess on my part. Maybe they surprise all of us. If they see it's going to cost, $50 million, $55 million a year for 14 years, are they really in? I think that they're trying to satisfy a very angry fan base because the Red Sox have been bad for the last 3 years. And they don't spend money. And believe me, they print money like the Yankees do with Yes and the Mets do with SNY. Well, Cohen doesn't own SNY, so I take that back. But what the Yankees do with Yes and the Dodgers do with their cable company, the Red Sox own NESN. They own Fenway Park. Mm-hmm. So obviously they have the money. I just don't think that they're in play. Now, it makes sense for them to say they're in play because even if the Yankees sign him, you want that price to go up as high as possible. But I thought one of the great points made in the paper today, and it was by Mike Vaccaro, Don. He said, please stop with the history of the franchise. It doesn't mean anything to players. It means something to fans and sports writers. It means nothing to Juan Soto that the Yankees are the crown jewel franchise in all of baseball. It doesn't. Who's going to pay him more? The Mets or the Yankees or the Dodgers or the Blue Jays? That's what it's going to be. So it's going to be. And one thing that was written today, I think Jeff Passan had it. He believes that this is going to be done by the winter meetings on December 9th. So we'll have an answer. He thinks by December 9th it's not going to be dragged out, which I think is what every team needs.
I think Buster had said December 15th, and so Passan December 9th. So we're all looking at, the beginning, during, or after, immediately after the winter meetings. So we're about a month away. So that kind of makes sense, and I think that gives time for the losers to be able to go and gobble up the free agents that they need. So that's good. You didn't want this, going into February where all the real good free agents are gobbled up by the teams that weren't in on Juan Soto. But it makes sense for all these teams to be in, give their fan bases some hope that their franchise is going to get this kind of a player. But ultimately, are they going to be able to dance with the Cohen money? If Steve Cohen is willing to go as far as he needs to go. So that's the X factor. Is there a budget for the Mets? And does it exceed the budget of other teams? As you said, Blue Jays, very wealthy team. Red Sox, very wealthy team. We know how much money the Yankees have. But we all know none of them really come close to the wealth that Steve Cohen has away from the Mets. How much is he willing to dip in to that $20 billion he's worth outside of the Mets organization? How much? Or is Stearns going to tell him, no, listen, we're going to have to work within some sort of a budget, and we can't get that crazy. But, Michael, if he wants to pay him $60 million a year, then he's going to the Mets. I don't think any of these other teams are going to dance. I don't think the Yankees have any appetite to do it, and I don't think the Blue Jays and the Red Sox have the money to go that far.
I think the Blue Jays do.
Well, $60 million for 13 years?
They might. I think the Yankees would say, no, we're not going there.
Yeah, I don't think the Yankees will go there. The Red Sox, but you made the point. The Blue Jays are the national team in Canada. Ton of money with Rogers. But if Cohen decides to go now, I'll go 65. Are they able to get into, that auction house kind of back and forth? Who's going to put the paddle up with the number, the last time? And the suggestion is that Steve Cohen is that guy. But we don't know We know he can do that, but do we know he was willing to go as far as anybody else, and even more so? Do we know that for a fact? We don't. We know he's got the money to do it, but does he have the appetite to do it?
And we know that starting, I believe, it's this week, are the Dance For Me meetings. And Francisco Lindor,
we love those.
Francisco Lindor is heading to California to be part of that meeting. It's just unbelievable to me. It's a charade is what it is. It's a charade because it's all going to come down to money because everybody that's going to be in certainly wants to win. And, you know, to make people fly across the country, again, not the most arduous thing when you're flying private, but still to do that for what? Especially the Yankees, for what?
All right, so if it's something deeper than a dog and pony show, what are we looking at? A say in how the franchise is run? You know, could Juan Soto and Boris be asking for, hey, I want everything to run through me?
No, well, that's an automatic no matter how great he is.
Well, it might be an automatic no for the Yankees, but that doesn't mean it's an automatic no for, say, the Giants, who seem to get turned down by every free agent that they go after, or the Blue Jays, who seem to get turned down by every free agent they go after. I agree with you. I don't think the Yankees would allow it. But would the Blue Jays say, hey, yeah, you can run our franchise?
I don't think so.
Would the Giants say?
I think that what we found over time is that active players are the worst GMs of all time.
Of course. But I look at Toronto and San Francisco specifically, that they feel like they're close. Whether it's true or not, I think they both believe they're close. San Francisco's got a new GM. They were 2 games under 500 last year, but they're in a very competitive division. Arizona's very good. And we know how good the Dodgers are, and the Padres. They want to move up. Nobody seems to want to take their money. Buster Posey, is now running the show there. How far are they willing to go to finally land the big kahuna? I don't know. I would think they would have a limit. I don't think it's a good idea to give carte blanche to any player. But how many times do you want to be told no by every big free agent in San Francisco and Toronto? When's enough where they say, all right, we got to win one of these? How far are they willing to go to have that happen? I don't know.
I mean, listen, all great players that are signed to long-term contracts, they're I wouldn't say they're part of the decision-making process, but they're certainly alerted what's going on. I mean, Aaron Judge was alerted when they were getting Juan Soto. That's what you do to a franchise player. So he will be made aware. I don't think anything's going to take him by surprise. But if you ever give up any kind of authority to a player, David Stearns wouldn't do it. No. Brian Cashman would never do it. I don't think Buster Posey just got the job. Buster Olney wouldn't do it. Would not be giving. The champ wouldn't do it, Peter.
It doesn't. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that you're the general manager, but we've all agreed that things get run by Judge, but based on the amount of money that they paid him. Aaron Judge is a part of the process. He's not the process. He's part of the process. Is that what Juan Soto's asking for? Like, I want a seat at the table right next to Judge. When you guys have meetings about free agents and trades and direction of the franchise, if Judge has a seat at the table, I want one right alongside him. Like something like that. Are we talking about that?
I don't know.
Are we talking about a percentage of T-shirt sales? I don't know. Because it probably just is a glorified dog and pony show. Jump for me, dance for me, clown. That's probably what he's doing.
This is the thing that bothers me, and maybe I'm just too sensitive about it. I think it's unseemly. Now, I believe that he should get as much money as he possibly can. He should break every record if he can. You should have teams bidding against each other. But having them make presentations to you like this, and somebody told me that, Scott has put out like a dossier of over 100 pages. He's not telling any GMs or owners anything that they don't know. The analytics have caught up with Scott Boris's analytics. So, again, having the Yankees, who you know more about than any team other than the Nationals, fly out there to do what? So, again, I just think he's a good guy. He handled himself in a really great way all year. Why do this? Why make people dance for you? Again, some professional athletes, like LeBron, never got the chance to be seduced by a college. They never got recruited. So I think they want to feel the love. But if I'm the Yankees, and I knew that I'm going to offer the most money, I'm not saying that that's the case, I'd say, Yeah, you kind of know what we're about. But you can't, because if you don't get them, then your fan base will jump all over you. Why didn't Hal fly out? I don't understand. Why did the Yankees play so hardball? But it's unseemly. It really is.
It feels that way, unless there is something else to ask for. Now, educate me, Michael. If you were to give him a percentage of merch, does that also fall under the threshold? As income, right? So it's just like a salary cap where, even if it's not money. I remember having a conversation, what if they offered, the Knicks offered LeBron James a helicopter to take him from Manhattan to Westchester every day? But that would count towards the cap. It would count as salaries. You can't do it. All right, so it isn't anything like that. Now, you also said, or at least Alex said, that the rumors of a merchandise tent with Alex Rodriguez was BS.
Right.
That didn't happen. But that's according to Alex. Is Alex telling the truth?
Well, I think
that Boris was asking.
I think that what happened, because he didn't ask for it from Texas. He didn't ask for it with the Yankees. So when he signed that new deal, but I think it was this. I think that's, Scott Boras can ask for the moon, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that Steve Phillips was under marching orders from the Wilpon. They did not want to swim in the deep end of the pool. And they said, you come up with something that, we're not going to, we can't sign him. So I think Steve Phillips would have loved to have had him.
Yeah, because it ended up being the 24
and 1, right.
Yeah, and for people that don't remember that, because it was 20-something years ago, is that the rumor was Alex was asking for like a merchandise tent and all this extra stuff, and the Mets were like, listen, I don't need to have 24 players and then you. But Alex said that didn't happen. It didn't happen in Texas. Didn't happen with the Yankees. So it does seem like it might have been something that was made up. But that's what I'm thinking of. Like, what extra? Like, Toronto must know. Listen, I'm the Toronto Blue Jays. I'm not even in the United States. All right, I'm not a team that has a history of winning over the last 3 decades. What extra can I entice him with besides paying him the most money? But that also suggests that it's something other than money. I don't know. I don't think it's anything other than money. I don't think Juan Soto needs a merchandise tent. I don't think Juan Soto wants a seat at the table to be the general manager. I just think he wants to be the highest paid player. And these conversations are probably like, are you gonna, there's a guy in New York that's got it sitting on a ton of money. You could be able to dance with him. Otherwise, don't waste my time. And if they say yes, okay, we'll get back to you. And then the Yankees, all the Yankees want to know is, please promise me that whatever you're offered, you'll come back and ask us if we can match it. I'm sure that's what they're curious about. Those are the conversations I think that are happening here.
Now, according to Jeff Passan, this is the order. Blue Jays have the first meeting this week. Red Sox are next, then the Mets and the Yankees. And we'll see who goes after that.
Now, maybe it's just a question. All right, so how much are you worth?
Well, how much do you want to pay me? They're not going to ask him how much are you worth.
Well, but just meaning, but that kind of answers the question, right? Like, he probably knows how much Steve Cohen is worth. He might not have an intimate knowledge of how much Rogers pulls in. Like, are they going to be able to pay me what I want? What are they worth? If they're not worth that much, then they're not going to be able to pay me what I want.
Yeah, but Scott Boras knows exactly what every owner's worth.
I would think so.
And what every team makes. So, again, that's why I say it's unseemly for a guy who handled himself with such grace all year to be doing this, lotto thing now, lottery, where people have to do, put their top hat on and cane and dance in front of him. It's just,
but like you said, you're only in this situation, once in your life. Like Soto might have another contract at the end of his career.
When he opts out.
But this is the big time. Like, for all of LeBron James bouncing around, Michael, it never got bigger than when he first left Cleveland to go to Miami. The decision and all. It never got bigger than that. And to some players, this is where you really get to find out what you're worth and to be seduced. So maybe there's something intoxicating about that. But I can understand your view. It does seem unseemly. We know what you want. We'll make the offers. Why do I have to dance for you, too? Isn't it good enough that I'm going to hand you more money than any baseball player has ever made in this world or any other? But I got to now dance. I got to dance it to the table? Please.
He's not coming back. He's not coming back.
No, I don't think that's outrageous.
Yeah, I'm not feeling it. I just don't see it.
Honestly, I don't know how Yankee fans would admit, but there is no way right now you could feel good about him coming back. I'm not saying he's not going to, but Michael, Peter, what information have you gotten? What indication at all that makes me feel good that he's coming back?
You heard his warm and fuzzy comments after the season. Oh, just kidding. There were none of those.
Well, the only thing that I think a Yankee fan would say is, well, we're the New York Yankees. Why would he leave? But I think that's been debunked by just the things that he said and who his agent is. Now, maybe that does happen, and he just decided, I can't leave here, but that can't be the way you'd bet.
Let's go to Alan in Morristown.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
How are you guys? I love your show, and I think you're all great, and love listening to you. Listen, I think he's not going to one of the clubs that you're all thinking about.
You're thinking Washington.
I'm thinking Washington. I'm thinking even Houston. I think tax is going to be a consideration for him. You could say no, but I'm telling you, he's going to want to go someplace for a long period of time where he pays a little less tax. I think he's going to think about it. Houston's a great club. Think about, and he wants to be the biggest fish in the sea. He doesn't want to be with Judge, and I don't know that he wants to be on the Mets. For all that we're talking about the Mets, I don't see it. I think he wants to be somewhere where he is the guy. And somehow I don't think it's any of the clubs that we're talking about.
Why he would be the man with the Mets? So what would be the problem there? What are you not seeing with the Mets?
He's not going to be just the man with the man. He wasn't the man with the Yankees. Come on, Don, that's not true.
But Alan, if he's the man wherever he goes, right? He's not going to be the man in Houston. Jose Altuve's a legend there. Not going to be the man there.
No, but Altuve's getting a little old.
He just signed a 5-year contract.
Okay, but not a 12-year contract.
Oh, but you only have Judge for 7 more years.
But who on the Mets would be bigger? That would be in the same stratosphere with Soto?
I don't know. They have a lot of great players. I mean,
so does Houston. So does all.
But
these
Alan,
teams.
we keep hearing Scott Boras say he wants to be in a team that wins. If he's going to be the only star on the team, and we thank you for the call, then he's not going to win. You're going to have other stars with you. And from everything that I could see with my own eyes and things that I've heard, he and Judge got along famously.
But anywhere he goes, besides, Judge isn't going to be here forever. If he signs a 13-year contract, Michael, there could be a
6
good
years.
7-8 years post-Judge where he could be the man. And who would be the man with the man? I mean, Lindor's a great player. Alonso's probably gone. You're telling me Juan Soto wouldn't be the man anywhere he went?
Except L.A.
Except L.A. I agree with, but he was like, I wouldn't see him going to the Mets. He wants to be the man. He'd be the man with the Mets. And I'm not talking about the Mets because I'm a fan, Michael, but he dismissed, why would he go to the Mets? Why not? If the Mets yell for more money, that's exactly where he's going to go.
Well, one thing that we should stop doing, though, and we've got maybe another 3 weeks of talking about this, let's not try to think outside the box. It's going to come down to money, not whether he's the man or not.
Right.
And Houston does not spend that much money on players. The biggest contract they ever gave out was to Altuve. They've lost players because of that. They let George Springer go.
Oh, yeah.
And they still have to sign Alex Bregman. They are not coming up with that kind of money. That's not how Jim Crane operates.
Well, and also, Michael, if there is a smidge less, then it could be to a place where taxes come into being. But taxes are a problem in New York. Taxes are a problem in California. Taxes are certainly a problem in Canada. How are they in Massachusetts?
Bad. Taxes are really bad in Massachusetts.
So really, the only place is Florida and Texas. That's why I think the Rays probably threw their hat in the ring, because the money's probably worth more. So if he ended up going to the Rays for a little bit less, it might be because there's no taxes. But in New York, in Los Angeles, in Canada, in Boston, it's going to just be who gives them the highest amount of dollars.
Sometimes, sometimes I go back and forth. In one sense, I get it. You're making so much money, the taxes are like a big deal. And then, I don't know if you feel the same way, Don. And then sometimes I'm like, really? You're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars, and you're acting as if if I go to Texas, I could save a few bucks, so I could really live the life I want to live.
You know what? It's a great point. It's a super point, especially when you consider the fact that it's not really about the dollars in your pocket. It's just about how much money the contract says.
Yeah, but
it's the sexiness of this is how much I get paid.
I think you're being somewhat naive, Peter. Because,
know
I
you
mean, the
disagree.
richest people in this country are living in Florida now. For what reason? They like the heat?
Because they're cheap bastards.
But that's right. The richest people are the cheapest people. They don't want to pay taxes.
But I hear that. I understand there's a lot of money attached to it. I'm just saying, to me, it's so wild as a pro athlete. If you have a chance to get a $600 million contract, you wouldn't rather play for a better organization or one that gives you a chance or one that's in a really cool place to live because you're just like, I need an extra $40 million over the contract.
Well, I think what Don said is accurate. If it's close, he'll go to the team with, that has no taxes.
Right, but what I'm saying is, and maybe I'm wrong, I'll never know what it's like to get offered this kind of money. I feel like it's all so much money. If it's close, I'd go to the better place to be.
I got you.
Either a better team, a more fun place to live.
We'll come back. We'll take your phone calls on this and many other things as well. It's Kayla Greco, Rosenberg, and you on Yes and 880 ESPN.
The Michael K. Show on Yes is presented by Untuck It. Shirts designed to be worn untucked. Shop now at untuckit.com.
Untuck It makes every guy look better. From tall to short, from big to slim. From our iconic button-downs for all shapes and sizes to a whole lot more. Try us today. Untuck It. We just make guys look better. Oh, and we make great styles for her, too. Shop the sale now at untuckit.com and more than 80 stores worldwide.
Here we go. They're following us.
This is always here.
The first ever Nissan Rogue Rock Creek.
Now, get 3.39% APR financing for 60 months on the 2025 Nissan Rogue Rock Creek.
Yes Network is now streaming on Fubo. Watch the Nets and more of your local teams. Streaming live on all your devices. Plus, over 350 top channels. Start watching at FuboTV.com.
Did you get the Duracell batteries?
What's it matter? Batteries are all the same. Incorrect. Only Duracell is built different with Power Boost ingredients inside. Power Boost ingredients are a unique blend of nickel and lithium. No other batteries have them. Power Boost.
A team grows in Brooklyn. Block by block. Play by play. Shot by shot.
We got Nets.
You coming?
This land is your land.
This land we love belongs to all of us. Yet not everyone is treated equally. Right now, millions of Americans are fighting for the things promised to all by the Constitution. Learn how the ACLU is defending the right to vote, free speech, and other civil liberties at myaclu.org. Like the road home. Receive a $5,500 bonus on a new 2024 Audi Q5 plug-in hybrid during the Season of Audi Sales event.
It's big, it's back, and it's only $6. Get the big box y'all love today. And this holiday season, you can order a Cajun-style turkey at your local Popeyes.
chicken from Popeyes.
The hottest ticket in town just got a holiday makeover. That's right, we're unboxing unbeatable values for your home every Friday in November. We're talking beautiful bedroom sets, dining sets in multiple heights and shapes, best-selling mattresses, feature-packed power sofas, pop-up sleeper sofas for hundreds less than other national retailers, decor and more, all at wow-worthy prices. I think we sufficiently wowed him. So check back every Friday for a new unboxing, because every day is like Black Friday when you dare to compare at Bob's.
So you think Santa will like these red and green M&Ms?
I don't know. I never met the guy. He does exist.
They do exist. Santa?
If you're an asbestos victim, pay close attention. Billions of dollars are being paid out to people like you. We should know. We're Whites in Luxembourg, the law firm that already won over $9 billion for men and women just like you. That's right, over $9 billion for mesothelioma sufferers and their families. We know you're short of money, and we know you're short of time, so we fight hard. Call Whites in Luxembourg at 917-LAWYERS. That's 917-LAWYERS. Whites in Luxembourg, winning big for the little guy.
There's no place like the road home. Receive a $5,500 bonus on a new 2024 Audi Q5 plug-in hybrid during the Season of Audi Sales event.
People tell me how lucky my daughter is to have been adopted. But really, we're the lucky ones. Learn more at adoptuskids.org.
Tomorrow night on Yes, the Nets return home to Barclays Center to face the defending champion Celtics. They took them to overtime last week in Boston. Can they pick up a win at home tomorrow? We'll just have to tune in and find out. Our coverage begins with the pregame show at 7, followed by opening tip a little after 7:30. It's the Nets and Celtics. Tomorrow night, coverage starting at 7 right here on Yes, and streaming, of course, on the Gotham Sports app. Food night for New York on Tuesday, November 19th. That's from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Mets team store. Free parking will be available in lots B and D. Now, due to off-season construction, there will be no vehicle access on Seaver Way. Fans can access lots B and D through Gate 8 at Shea Road and Boat Basin Place. Fans donating at least 10 non-perishable items receive a voucher for 2 tickets to a select Mets home game in 2025. Visit Mets.com/food drive to see a complete list of foods needed. So there's a little bit of a burgeoning story that's out there. Fox did its broadcast on Sunday to honor Veterans Day. I believe it was at a base, a military base, and they were playing the national anthem. So all of the hosts had their hands across their heart, except for Michael Strahan, who has hands crossed in front of him, like he had it down around his belt and his hands crossed, but standing straight looking at the flag. And people are going nuts that he disrespected the flag. Now, I love this country, everything that this country has done for me and my family. And there are times that I don't stand for the national anthem with my hand on my heart. I don't think that's a thing that says whether or not you are respecting or disrespecting. I stand straight up. My hands are usually clasped behind my back, and I'm staring and I'm singing the national anthem. That's how I consume it. I can't believe that people are going nuts on Michael Strahan.
Michael, we live in a country full of frauds. This is insane. Michael Strahan is the child of a veteran. I think a Marine. I think his father's a 23-year Marine. It's absolutely insane. They showed him for like 1 second, and he was standing straight, but didn't have his hand on his heart. We're not 5-year-olds doing the pledge. As long as you're standing, I'm sorry, no one has room to say anything. Does anyone call out all the people getting their hot dogs during the national anthem? Like it's just ridiculous and inconsistent. And to Strahan, of all people, who's never done anything to make you think a thing, it just shows people will look for any reason to go after anyone.
Like if he was sitting while they were standing, okay, let's talk. The guy was standing up, his hands clasped in front front of him and looking at the flag. I don't get the outrage. Where is it ever written that you have to have your hand across your heart as you're singing the national anthem? So you could sing the national anthem, and if you don't have your hand across your heart, you're disrespecting the flag? I don't get it. I don't understand that thinking. I mean, again, somebody's kneeling, somebody doesn't show up. As Peter just so expertly said, you go to a stadium, you go to Madison Square Garden, people are getting to their seat or they're online at the concession stand while this is going on. Do you go crazy over that? Instead, they're making Michael Strahan out to be this evil presence. Now, if I'm Michael Strahan, I might address this. He didn't address it today on Good Morning America, and there's reports that he snapped at somebody that was outside his house who asked him about it. Maybe he thinks, and he might be right, I don't have anything to defend. I didn't do anything wrong. Because on Veterans Day, he actually tweeted out a picture of his dad, his hero, in his uniform. So, I mean, this to me, it's a little much ado about nothing.
It is amazing that like history and lineage and all that doesn't matter. It's 10 seconds on video of him not, having his hand on his heart.
Do you put your hand on your heart every time there's a national anthem?
I try to, but I was just thinking about this. Like if I'm calling a Ranger game, and if they put a camera on me and Dave during the anthem, you will see Dave takes his headset off, and he has his hand on his heart. A Canadian, by the way. And honoring the flag because he's a tremendous human being. I don't have that luxury. I've got to keep my headset on because I'm being talked to back at the studio. I've got to.
You're a communist.
I have to immediately do a read after the anthem. So sometimes I'm holding the paper that I've got to read as soon as the anthem is over. So if you glanced over at me for 15 seconds, you would go, "What's Don doing? He's talking on his headset, and meanwhile Dave is got his headsets off and he's got his hand on his heart. So Dave is obviously more patriotic than Don. No, I've got a bunch of things I've got to do. I usually have my hand on my heart, and then as they're closing it out, I've got to put the headsets back on. I've got to scramble because as soon as that anthem's over, I got to mention who sang the anthem. I've got to read before they drop the puck. I've got to give the starting goaltender. So there's things I got to do. I don't know.
Don,
what was happening at that particular moment. Well, I guess
Thank you for laying it out for everyone.
The only thing I ever learned when I was a kid growing up in public school in New York is you put your hand on your heart for the Pledge of Allegiance.
The Pledge of Allegiance.
I never was told you have to have your hand on your heart for the national anthem. I've never heard that. I mean, Michael Strahan doesn't need to be felt sorry for. He's certainly got a lot going on, all in the positive vein. But wow, to be this villain, I see people on Twitter cursing at him. I mean, just unbelievable.
Like big people like Michelle Tafoya destroyed him on Twitter.
Michelle Tafoya did that? Oh, that's shameful. She should be ashamed of herself. That is really insane, man.
Yeah, but it's such an overreaction to.
And also, why do other people get to choose what someone else's patriotism looks like? How does Michelle Tafoya get to choose what Michael Strahan's patriotism looks like? How? What do you know about his life? No, obviously not a lot.
Now, obviously, you look at it, and it seems strange that the other four individuals have their hand on their heart. Like, why didn't he?
Why is that strange? They're different humans.
But why is the default that he's a communist and he hates the country instead of, that's curious, but now who cares? So,
guys, I've been to a lot of football games. I've been to a lot of football games, a lot of baseball games, a lot of everything. The percentage of people I've been with who stand up, take off their hat, and then put their hand on their heart like it's the pledge is a low number. The normal.
And also, why don't you look at all the football players standing on the field? They all, most of them have their hands on their heart. I remember I went to a game late in the season. I took Charlie, and they're playing the national anthem, and I looked at him, and he had his hand on his heart, and I got all welled up and isn't that sweet? But still, I had my hands behind my back. Doesn't mean I have less respect, but for some reason, he has his hand on his heart, and I'm standing straight up, and I've got my hand behind my back. But I don't get it where everybody gets to be the arbiter of what you're about.
But I'm looking at the picture, and they all happen to do hand on the heart, and he's standing very respectfully with his hands crossed in front of him.
Right.
It's insane. But, Michael, sometimes the answer is bad guy. Didn't a wise man once say that?
You mean, but everybody jumping him is a bad guy, or are they just looking for something to, like, be that guy?
Same thing. They're having a that guy moment.
They don't like Michael for whatever reason, and so they saw an opportunity to jump him. Like, really, why would you care? Has Michael Strahan ever, and we covered him here in New York, ever felt like that he was un-American, disrespectful to his country, said anything controversial against the country? I don't know. Has he ever made a political statement? I don't know. I never noticed it, if he did. So why would anybody have it out for him?
It's weird. Well, maybe he's too successful, so it's time. People think it's time to bring him down.
Or just people are just like hunting for this garbage, and most of the people that are doing it, like Peter said, would probably not know what's going on in the anthem because they're shoveling nachos down their throat, or they're waiting online for nachos, or decided at this moment I'm going to go use the bathroom.
I think it's very clear that we have different standards of what being patriotic looks like, and that being your standard is bizarre.
Let's go to Tori in Brooklyn. Tori.
Hey, how's it going, Michael?
Good.
Peter, Don. I just had a quick question. I'm not trying to. You know more about baseball than I ever do, so just take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. But I guess I don't understand why you're so angry or pressed, or you don't get it that these teams, that Juan Soto wants these teams to meet with him, or you view it as dancing. He can do whatever he wants.
Of course.
He's the player.
You're absolutely right.
So it doesn't matter. Even if he said, I want you to travel to Germany, leave to Germany, and then catch a flight back to L.A., and that's only who I'm talking to, he can say whatever he wants. Now, they don't have to agree to it.
Yeah, but they do.
I don't think we should.
But, Tori, I couldn't agree with you more. I could not agree with you more. But what does he need to do it for? All they have to do, who's offering him the most money? What's the deal?
But he could.
Yeah, I know he can do whatever he wants, but don't you think it looks a little weird?
No, that's what I'm saying. Even if that's something that I wouldn't do, if that's what he wants and that's what he feels, it doesn't matter. That's he can.
We have no argument. We have no disagreement at all, Tori. He can do whatever he wants, and you know what? We thank you for the call. He's doing exactly that.
Listen, guy who works in my building who's a big Yankee fan was talking about it with me yesterday, and he said it's sort of like if someone was, you went to go see a house that you wanted to buy, and you already saw it, and then the owner says, hey, you know what, come by again, it's really out of the way, it's really hard, but I want to talk to you in person, please come see me. And you're like, but I already saw the house, I did everything. But the bottom line is, if you know you want that house, you're not going to let the owner get in your way. And if they really want Juan Soto, I would highly suggest and imagine you don't let your pride get in the way. It's annoying. It's kind of stupid, but if you think you need the guy, you need the guy.
And that's why they're all going.
And he's a great teammate once you have him. It's not like he acts like that day to day.
But what I would say to the caller is, just because he can do it doesn't mean he should, or that it's right to do. It's kind of unnecessary, especially for the Yankees. What are the Yankees going to tell him that he doesn't already know? He spent the last year with the Yankees. So it was 162 games plus the postseason. What does Hal have to tell him that he doesn't already know? Like some of these places, maybe he doesn't know what it's like, what the neighborhoods are in Toronto, and maybe he wants to check out where he's going to live. All right, that makes sense.
Now, Boone is going there too, right? He spent every day, essentially every day, since February 21st until the end of the World Series, the end of October, with Aaron Boone. He knows how Aaron Boone manages, how he interacts with his players, everything. He knows everything about Aaron Boone. Why is Aaron Boone going? Because they want to show the love. They want to bend the knee. They're all bending the knee. But what it comes down to, in my opinion, bending the pen. Who's going to give him the biggest offer?
Right.
And as Tori said, he has the right for asking anything he wants. He can ask for anything.
Because let me ask you this, Michael. Is there a world in which the Yankees offer $60 million a year and the Mets offer $55, and he goes to the Mets because Hal didn't make the trip to California to talk to him? No. That world does not exist.
No. I will come back, take more phone calls. Big 6 o'clock hour coming up as well. Michael, Don, and Peter with you here on Yes and 880 ESPN.
Well, if you want my 2 cents on interest rates, we got options.
My 2 cents. This one's priced to sell.
My 2 cents?
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 Here's my 2 cents. I'm planning for the future. Interest plus interest equals more interest. Come on, man. You can do it.
Hi, Joan. Perfect timing. I have a few questions.
Of course. Let's look at your plan.
Untuck It makes every guy look better. From tall to short, from big to slim. From our iconic button-downs for all shapes and sizes to a whole lot more. Try us today. Untuck It. We just make guys look better. Oh, and we make great styles for her, too. Shop the sale now at untuckit.com and more than 80 stores worldwide.
When you order Domino's online, we'll give you a free pizza to use for a future pizza emergency. So you'll have a free pizza when you need it most. Get your emergency pizza when you order Domino's online.
There you go. Thank you. Bye.
Dinner's ready!
Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted.
What if you went to your secret hiding place and found this? All drug use comes with risk. Before those risks become real, know that you can quit. For help with drug use, call 1-800-662-HELP for free and confidential information and treatment referral. Or go to samhsa.gov/know-the-risks.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. Innovating to prepare students for our fast-changing world. They're skilled experts, discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, leading by example. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org.
I debate all day. It's what I do. But there are some things that are undebatable, like your mental health. I was in a dark place when my brother passed away in a car accident. I was depressed in ways I never imagined. I reached out, and my sisters came, my pastor, my therapist. They helped me get through it. I found that the more I spoke up, the healthier my mind became. When you love your mind, you can go so much further. Find mental health resources at loveyourmindtoday.org.
'Twas the night before Spriteness when Answer Claus came. Sprite Winter Spice Cranberry was the name of his game, and they heard him exclaim as he peeked out of sight.
Merry Spriteness to all, and to all a good Sprite.
It's big, it's back, and it's only $6. Get the big box y'all love today. And this holiday season, you can order a Cajun-style turkey at your local Popeyes.
Love that chicken from Popeyes.
Here we go. They're following us.
This is awesome.
Idiot. The first ever Nissan Rogue Rock Creek.
Now, get 3.39% APR financing for 60 months on the 2025 Nissan Rogue Rock Creek.
Nothing feels as good as driving a new Hyundai. And now you can get a great deal on your favorite model at the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Plus, every Hyundai is backed by America's best warranty. Hurry to the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event before this offer ends. Make your next getaway your best one yet. Get an all-wheel drive Santa Fe for 1.99% APR for up to 72 months or lease for $269 a month. Hurry in.
Welcome to the Warehouse, home of Blitzball Battle 5, where the big leagues meet the backyard. Pro athletes and some not pro athletes. Hearts on the line. Games that matter just enough.
Time to the final!
Blitzball Battle 5 premieres November 4th. Watch all year round on Warehouse Games YouTube.
vape, Emma?
Wacky sitcom teens aren't the best people to talk to your kid about vaping.
You got a minute?
You are. Talk to your child about vaping today.
Peter with you until 6:30, then Dan Grassa takes over for a short show before the Knicks, and the Rangers are on 10:50. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Eric in Bayonne. Eric.
Hey, Michael, Don, and Peter. If you guys will allow me, I just wanted to make a quick comment on national anthem conversation.
Sure.
So I'm a Devils season ticket holder, so I see that national anthem 2 to 3 times in front of you and you stand at attention. Last year, I actually brought my mom down to FedEx Field. She's a huge Washington fan, and she tried to correct me, telling me I have to put my hand on my heart. I have the same conversation with her that Peter just mentioned. That's a pledge of allegiance thing to me. That's not a national anthem. For the anthem, you stand at attention, you give it the respect it deserves, and really the only cliche for that is you have to remove your headwear, but that they always make that comment before the anthem anyway.
Right.
That's right. Please remove your hats. Nobody says put it on your heart, although a lot of people do that. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with putting your hand or your
knock
hat
yourself
on your
out
heart.
if that's your thing.
But it doesn't make you a bad person if you don't. Thank you, Eric. It doesn't make you a bad person if you don't. But they're trying to make Michael Strahan out to be this evil person. Now, he has not said if he was trying to make any kind of a statement.
Well, of course he wasn't.
Right.
It's a ridiculous thought. My thought is the other guys probably just saw each other do it.
And also they were on a military base where all the soldiers are doing it probably.
Or maybe the soldiers are too. But can we just be honest? The other guy's doing it, and I don't have anything wrong with it. They're doing it for the optic. I'm sorry. You're telling me every time Terry Bradshaw hears it, maybe he does, but maybe he doesn't. The bottom line is the four did it because they thought of it and they're on camera, and I get it. Strahan, obviously in the moment, maybe, you know what? It was a Veterans Day show. Maybe he was thinking about his father.
Yeah.
Maybe he wasn't thinking about the optic of being on TV. He just thought, he was having a moment, actually thinking about the thing
and
itself.
Based on where he was standing, too, and what he was looking at, the optics of, like, all the soldiers, he might not even have noticed that they had their hands
Not at all.
Like, maybe if he noticed, like, this looks odd, I'm the only one not doing it, I should do it. But maybe he was paying attention to the song. Maybe he was honoring it the true way that it was supposed to be, thinking about his dad, thinking about all the sacrifices that veterans make. But, again, we're a world of optics, because that's the only thing that we can see in a 10-second video. And because we live in a world where you have to have an opinion one way or the other, it's so much easier and gets such a reaction. All this is social media. We wouldn't have gotten one phone call on it, Michael. Nobody is talking about this out. This always a viral video in the cesspool that's social media. Why are we even surprised?
Let's go to Pete in Syracuse. Hello, Pete.
Hi, Pete.
Peter.
No,
He's there. I could hear him. No. Wow.
That's unfortunate.
It's awful. Let's go to Anthony in Fairlawn.
Hey, what's up? Thanks for taking my call.
You got it.
I actually think the Juan Soto thing is less about Juan Soto's ego and more about Scott Boras. And I actually think it's a way that Scott Boras gets the next Juan Soto. He goes to these young players and he tells them, hey, look what I can do. I can make these owners and these GMs jump through hoops. I can make them do whatever they want. Sign with me. I'll get you money. I'll get you fame. I'll get you whatever I want. And also, Peter, I think you should have point God, because you said a throwaway line, which is that what's the big deal? Soto is not a D-bag once he gets there. He's a good guy and he's a good teammate.
Exactly. He literally did everything that you want, right? Hits monster home runs, puts his head down, runs around the bases, supportive of his teammates, never said a bad thing all year long, didn't cause extra controversy or attention.
What I will say, whenever we want to blame the agent, in this case Scott Boras, for what happens, Boras works for Soto. Because Soto could just say, no, I'm not going to just have these guys fly all over the place. So, yeah, it probably is Boras's idea, and it probably is for the benefit of Scott. But Juan doesn't have to do it, Michael. He doesn't work for Scott Boras.
Yeah, but
the other way around.
No, I get it, and I understand that. But I do also think that it becomes a collaborative thing. They're in it together. He's known him since he was 16 years old, so I think he trusts him implicitly. But what the caller said has some validity to it. I mean, it's a flex. It's a major flex. Look how I can get all these billionaires to dance for me. Watch. Let's do it for fun. Because anything that they can do by flying out to California, they can do on Zoom. They could. And really, if you're really investigating what something's all about, you flying to that city, to see where you live. Well, because you know the money's going to be there. Because if they're in the bidding, they've got the money to offer you all the. They know exactly what the baseline is. So you should be going to Toronto. You should be going to Philly. You should be going to all the places that you haven't lived to see where you would live. That makes more sense than having them traipse out to California.
You know what? But you know what these trips do, Michael? Makes it believable when he has his dog and pony show press conference for whoever he signs with. Right. Give you all the reasons why he signed there that's not about money. And it makes it believable because, hey, I went to these places. I sat down with Toronto. I heard about their future. I love the city. And it makes it believable because you did go there. But we all know the real reason why you're going to sign wherever you sign. But they always have the press conference, Michael, as if it's believable. Oh, I signed with the Yankees because my father's favorite player was Mickey Mantle. Or I signed here because it's got great schools.
Well, the NBA Cup is back. You can win big getting in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA.
The Michael K. Show on Yes is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more.
Any NBA play can inspire your next hunch. And with 3 months of NBA League Pass from FanDuel, you're about to get a whole lot more inspiration. So if you think they're going to rock the rim right out of the gates, hello, or you want to RSVP to the block party, there he is. Yes, sir. Or you think it's going to start raining threes. Let's go! FanDuel has more ways to bet on players so you can make your hunches happen. Right now, new customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if you win. Plus, all customers get 3 months of NBA League Pass on us. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook.
Well, if you want my 2 cents on interest rates, we got options.
My 2 cents. This one's priced to sell. My 2 cents. My 2 cents.
My 2 cents. My 2 cents.
My 2 cents? Here's my 2 cents. I'm planning for the future. Interest plus interest equals more interest. Come on, man. You can get that.
Hi, Joan. Perfect timing. I have a few questions.
Of course. Let's look at your plan.
It's big, it's back, and it's only $6. Get the big box y'all love today. And this holiday season, you can order a Cajun-style turkey at your local Popeyes.
Love that chicken from Popeyes.
Untuck It makes every guy look better. From tall to short, from big to slim. From our iconic button-downs for all shapes and sizes to a whole lot more. Try us today. Untuck It. We just make guys look better. Oh, and we make great styles for her, too. Shop the sale now at untuckit.com and more than 80 stores worldwide.
This winter, when you find yourself looking at this, don't do this, or this. When it comes to snow, go with Snow Joe, the #1 brand of cordless snowblowers. With ultra-powerful Ion Plus lithium-ion technology. Snow Joe's cordless snow shovels and blowers are the lightweight, cordless way to clear walkways, driveways, decks, steps, sidewalks, and yards.
So I've been using the Snow Joe products for several years now. I'm very happy and excited with the way that they work. I also have a battery-powered snowblower, which works amazing.
This handy grab-and-go snow shovel weighs less than 14 pounds, yet clears up to 300 pounds of snow per minute, throws up to 20 feet away with up to 70 minutes of runtime per charge. Got a bigger clearing job to handle? Forget about gas. Cut the cord and go with Joe. This 48-volt Snow Joe cordless blower clears over 10 tons of snow in 30 minutes on a single charge, about the weight of 5 pickup trucks. You only get that kind of power with Snow Joe's exclusive 24-volt Ion Plus battery technology with EcoSharp power management, driving a heavy-duty rubber-tipped steel blade auger that shreds snow without scratching the pavement and with 0 emissions. Best of all, it starts like this. Listen to how quiet it is.
After years of shoveling snow with a traditional manual shovel, my search led me to Snow Joe's cordless battery-operated snowblowers. Ended up being one of the absolute best purchases that I have ever made. Both me and my lower back, thank you.
Call now to order your Snow Joe today with prices starting at just $199.99. Or go online to snowjoeontv.com and pay as low as $19 a month. Order now and get 2 free gifts, a premium 3-year warranty, plus free shipping. A total savings of over $100.
Call 1-800-238-3495 or go online to snowjoeontv.com.
You can see it on Yes. That's Game Time, brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, because when it's game time, it's Tully time. Tullamore Dew, the original triple distilled, triple blended, triple cask matured Irish whiskey. Be sure to grab a Tullamore Dew or try the brand new Tullamore Dew Honey during tonight's action. Glasses up to enjoying Tullamore Dew responsibly.
Fun with numbers is tremendous. He gave us the schedule for all of the wild card teams in the National League.
Right.
So the Mets are half game back in the loss column. We just mentioned 3 with the Red Sox, well, 2 now, 3 with the Reds, 3 with the Blue Jays, and the 7 with the Phillies, 3 with the Nationals, 3 with the Braves, 3 with the Brewers. Now Atlanta, 3 in Colorado, which Colorado's kind of funky. I would not expect the Braves to sweep that series, but I don't think they're going to get, I don't think they're going to get swept or lose 2 out of 3. 3 in Toronto. They got a makeup game against the Reds, 2 with the Nationals. That's all on this current road trip. So that's a 9-game road trip.
Homestead.
Oh, no, I got it as a...
well, the Yankees are home so the Mets are home for at least a week, right?
Yeah, so I'm trying to see why he's got it color-coded. So forget it. I don't know why he's got it, because he's got it color-coded, but the Mets are home against the Reds, so I don't know. So let's ignore that. All right. 3 with the Rockies, 3 with the Blue Jays, a makeup game with the Reds, 2 with the Nationals, 4 with the Dodgers, 3 more at the Reds, 3
they have
at
4
the
with the Dodgers? That's not good.
Yeah. 4 at home against the Dodgers. The 2 at Nationals, and then they close out 3 at home against the Mets, and then 3 with the Royals, which is interesting because the Royals may need those games. The Brewers aren't going to need those games for the Mets at the end of the season. I think the Royals are going to need those games, right, Michael? I mean, they're going to be competing possibly for the division, if not a wild card spot. So I would think the Royals could still be alive for a playoff spot. So that's what you're looking at there. If you want to throw the Cubs in the mix, but I'm not worried about the teams that are behind the Mets. And the Padres and the Diamondbacks, it's going to be tough, although still doable. The Padres have 3 with the Tigers, 3 with the Giants, 2 with the Mariners, 3 more with the Giants, 3 with the Astros. They've got 3 with the White Sox, 3 at Dodgers, 3 at Diamondbacks. So the Padres have a pretty tough schedule, too. But 16-8 is not impossible for the Mets.
One thing is clear, though. It does seem that if you're a Mets fan, you have any hope of making the playoffs. You're not relaxing at any point this year. It's going to, it will be that series at the end of September against Atlanta when you really know.
And I got to tell you, the reason he did the yellow, Michael, was with teams with winning records. So I figure phone numbers does not make mistakes. So anyway. They did not lay off against the White Sox. Now, they didn't blow the White Sox out in all 3 games, but they know they'll lose games, but I don't think it's going to be because of a disengagement or thinking that they've already got things won, because they could have sleptwalk at any moment during the White Sox series. Didn't. Diaz got back on track. Lindor was big. They're playing outstanding defensively. That was the big difference in the game last night against the Red Sox. They made the plays. The Red Sox didn't. So right now they're playing as good a baseball as you can play, and we'll see if it continues.
Now, as for the Yankees, they start this road trip through Texas and then Chicago to meet the Cubs with a victory last night. Garrett Cole pitched very well, 6 innings, 1 run, and then he cramped up. And, I mean, thank goodness for them it was just a cramp and not a calf pull or anything like that. It was just a cramp, so he shouldn't miss any time. And, of course, Clay Holmes made it interesting in the 9th inning. Great play by Gleyber Torres to end the game. Otherwise, Corey Seager comes up as the tying run in a game that the Yankees thought was a laugher. But this is following a week where they dropped the ball. You can't lose 2 out of 3 to the Nationals, and you can't lose 2 out of 3 to the Cardinals. Cardinals are brutal. They're brutal. They handed that game, both games to the Yankees. Yankees wouldn't take them. Yankees play really bad baseball. Now, I do have to address something.
Go ahead.
And it's the first time in all the years since I told Peter I will not be answering questions on Twitter. Just not going to do it. Not going to waste my time and aggravate myself. But the Yankees, when the rosters expanded, did not call up Jason Dominguez. And to say that Yankee Twitter lost its collective mind, I believe is probably an understatement. I mean, it's as if the Yankees didn't call up Mickey Mantle. Jason Dominguez, I think, is going to be a superstar. But he doesn't have that much of a track record in the big leagues. He didn't play that often last year in September before he hurt his elbow. So, I mean, you're not looking at a sure thing. That's number one. And I'm not. And the thing that I loved about the people on X, I'm sure you saw this too, Don. Paul and I explained what was behind the Yankee thinking. And Peter's the one who's always told me this is what gets me in trouble. So we're explaining what the Yankees are thinking, why they didn't bring him up. And these lunatics are saying, oh, look at Kay covering the Yankees' backside, kissing Hal's ring, blah, 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 blah. Never co-signed on what they did or didn't do, explaining what the thought process was. But the one thing that came out, most of the people that reacted so furiously on X, was that this was a service time manipulation. So when I read it, I said, there's no way. I mean, the Yankees play a lot of games. That's a game they don't play. If somebody could help them, they could help them. The only service time manipulation you'd be doing, if you got 100 at-bats the rest of the year, that it would take him over 134, which would then make him not eligible for Rookie of the Year next year. And if he's not eligible for Rookie of the Year next year, then if he wins Rookie of the Year, or would have won Rookie of the Year, the Yankees would have gotten a draft pick after the first round. You think that they would risk not winning in 2024 so they could get the 31st pick in the draft? Relax, everybody. So I said I got to make some phone calls on this. Here's why they didn't do it. They didn't do it. Had nothing to do with service time manipulation. Zero. They love Dominguez. Love him. But they know that if they bring Dominguez up, then that's it for Verdugo. That's it. Now, I know what people are saying right now. Well, who cares? He's not going to be here next year. And to an extent, you're right. And if you remember, and thank you, Anthony, for posting this, 2 weeks ago, when Verdugo could not hit his way out of a paper bag, I said the Yankees have to do drastic things. And one of them was to call up Jason Dominguez and bench Alex Verdugo. That's what I said. Well, right before September 1st hits, Alex Verdugo starts to hit. So now, since that time, I think in the last 6 games, he's 12 for 31. They are not going to pull the plug on Alex Verdugo when he's hitting. It doesn't make sense. And if you heard Boone yesterday, they consider Verdugo to be a Gold Glove caliber left fielder. Jason Dominguez is a center fielder who they've moved to left. And the one game he played for the Yankees at the Little League Classic, he didn't do all that great in left field. Although they think he's a pretty good left fielder, they do not think he's as good as Verdugo. Does it mean they're not going to call up Dominguez? No. And I will tell you what I think. As long as Verdugo's hitting, you can't call him up. Because I don't want Jason Dominguez sitting on the bench. Now, if you can assure me, and all you GM geniuses seem like you can assure everybody of everything, that Dominguez is going to come up and hit more than 330, then you got an argument. But you can't assure me that, and until Verdugo cools down again, you can't call him up. I'm not sitting Dominguez on the bench. I'd rather him play the remainder of the 3 weeks in the minor leagues. And then if you want to call him up, you could call him up. This is a ridiculous reaction. People acting if they know that that if they called up Dominguez, he'd hit 500 and lead them to the promised land. There's still a chance that he will get called up. But what they has to coincide with is Verdugo going cold again. How dumb, how ill-advised would it look if they called the kid up when Verdugo just got hot? Maybe Verdugo cools off, Don. If he does, then you call him up. Doesn't mean that you're not going to call this guy up. But at the time, it didn't make sense for them to call him up while Verdugo was starting to hit. They internally like Verdugo. I actually had a talk with Aaron Boone yesterday. He said his numbers are not representative of how well he's played. I said, Aaron, he's legitimately been bad for 2.5 months. Don't tell me about exit velocity. I've watched every single game. He has not hit well for 2.5 months until this last week. So we had a disagreement on that. But I do agree, you don't call him up unless he gets to play every day. And you don't take a guy out of the lineup who they think is a great left fielder. I think he's better than average, not great, and until he stops hitting, Don.
No, but you hear, and I guess on Talking Yankees, Boone said today, there's no room for him.
There isn't.
And then you said that they like Verdugo. So does this have anything to do with him being hot right now, or just the fact that they just like Verdugo and rather have him in left field?
I think it's him being hot. I really believe that. Well, they do like him. Okay. So that's why they gave him as much slack as they did when he couldn't hit for 2.5 months. But the bottom line is, he is hitting now. How dumb would it be to take him out now?
I know, but still, a lot of Yankee fans are looking at it as the fact that he's a free agent at the end of the year.
He's not going to be here next year.
Overall, he's a .235 hitter. Dominguez was the untouchable at the trade deadline. When they did see him play last year before he got hurt, he was playing very well. So I can understand Yankee fans being upset about that. So why is there no space for him? Now, you bring up a good point, because he's been hot. Recently, he's been hot. But you said that you had a disagreement with Boone because Boone says it was there. So even if he wasn't hot, why do I feel like they would have done this anyway? Because they believe in Verdugo.
They keep throwing Babbitt at me, right? So Babbitt is batting average on balls put in play, and his Babbitt is exceptionally low. And so they think that it'll be a return to the means where the Babbitt will be higher because that's bad luck. But my point was, I'm sorry. I've watched the at-bats. They're not good at-bats. Right. He has a legitimate Babbitt because when he puts the ball in play, it's a soft ground ball to second base.
So let me ask you this. Now, you may not have the answer to it. If Verdugo was just continuing to be bad at this little stretch,
I think they call him up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then I think it's the fans were unfair. But I have a feeling the fans are looking at it and saying, I don't think they would have done it anyway. I think they would have. For the reason that you said, because Boone believes in this guy and the Babbitt. They'd always dig down to find the numbers to tell you, you're wrong. We're better off with Verdugo in left field. Then I can understand the fans crying. But if it's because he just got hot now, well, then I think that you got to ride out the hot hand because these games are important. The division is not won yet. There's still a lot of work to be done here. Give yourself the best chance to win. He's finally feeling it, so let's see where this goes. But Michael, you know more than I do, but just knowing this team and knowing what they talk about and the numbers and all that analytically, I have a feeling that they wouldn't have done it anyway. If they believe in Verdugo, they believe in him.
But yeah, you could believe in somebody, and he's having a bad year. Verdugo's having a bad year. This is not what you signed up for. You signed up for a guy who's going to have 40 doubles. Now, if you look at his numbers, he might end up with 35 doubles. I think he has 28 right now, 27. So he's close to what he should be in that. But all the other metrics to me, he has not played as great in left field as I thought he would. His arm is outstanding. And he shouldn't be hitting 235. And he's not coming back. He's a one-and-done guy. So I will assure Yankee fans, you said the one untouchable was Dominguez. Yeah, because he's going to be your left fielder next year. He's going to be your left fielder for the next 10 years. That's a given. But they don't have to rush the clock and sit down a guy who would become a non-player who's hot right now. I think if he went into another slump, I think you'd see Dominguez get called up.
Now, how hot is he? Because, again, over the last 5 games... I think he's like
games, 12 for his last 34, something like that.
Because over the last 5 games, he's got 5 hits, 1 double, and 4 singles.
Right.
So it must go farther than that.
Yeah, it goes back a little bit more. He's hitting over 300 for like 8 games.
It's not, to me, that's not enough of a sample based on what he's been all year long.
I've got it here. All right, so he came into yesterday 11 for his last 30. That's 367. He was 1 for 4. So he's 12 for 34 in his last 9 games.
No home runs.
No, he's not really a home run hitter. He's more of a doubles hitter.
But all right, so how many doubles? Because I got 1 double over the
28
last 5
doubles.
games. Over that
time,
span?
I don't know. Of those 11 hits, of the 12 hits, I don't know. Yesterday was an infield single. So it was.
I don't know. I don't know if that's. I can understand the fans being a little upset,
but not to the level that they were. I mean, they were going apoplectic.
Well, that's what they do. That's what fans do, especially on social media, Michael. Especially with a guy that was said that he was untouchable and not getting called up. And listen, don't just rip the fans, Michael. John Heyman openly questioned it on social media.
No, I get it. I understand.
It's not just fans. There's a lot of people, a lot of analysts of baseball that didn't get this. So I hear what you're saying, and if that's the reason, then we have to accept that because he has been hot. But I have the feeling that they wouldn't have done it anyway because you mentioned the thing they still believe and they throw Babbitt at you. This is an organization that likes to dig down deep into the numbers to tell you how much smarter they are than you.
Well, see, this is what annoys me with fans. They're all smart asses. They really are. I'm sorry for the language.
Well, yeah.
So Slam Central Station goes, Verdugo's never getting hot. Laughing, a crying emoji. He's hitting 353 in his last 9 games. All right? A home run, a double, and 842 OPS. That's not hot? So, again, don't watch the games with your eyes closed. This guy's going to stay in the lineup, and Dominguez is not coming up until this guy goes cold. And you know what? I kind of understand it. And I'm not carrying the Yankees water because 2 weeks ago, Anthony posted it last night. I said that they should bench Verdugo when he was red hot, and they should have called up Dominguez. But to say it was time manipulation, that's a lie. It was not. That was never an issue. They do a lot of things. They don't do that. They don't care about that. They don't care about saving that money. They don't care about getting that draft pick. Is it a nice positive to do? Yes, but they're not going to give up the 2024 season so that they can get a draft pick in 2020. That's ridiculous. That was never an issue.
Well, I do, but you do get the frustration. Like, this is a guy who, when he showed up and people got a taste of him, was unbelievable.
But it was 8 games.
Like, oh my God. I know, but that's the thing. It was such a tease. They had this moment where you go, oh my God, he's exactly what we thought he is. And then injury, gone. Now you have an opportunity to get him back. You find out you're not. People get irrational in moments like that. And you also feel like you could use him. And this is a team that's been inconsistent. You feel like, especially finding out, even Michael hearing this, that it relates to Verdugo, I feel like that would upset people even more.
But that's the only place he's going to play. He's not playing center for Judge. He's not playing right for Soto. Stanton has 25 home runs. He's not DHing. The only place for him to play is left field.
I know, but wouldn't the average fan, Don, just rather be done with Verdugo?
Well, they don't. You know what? It's funny. The Yankees don't run their organization for the average fan.
But that's it. But that's it. No, but that's it. That's where we've hit the crux. They go, I want to see the Martian. I don't care about Verdugo. But yeah, that's not how you can operate.
Hey, to hit a home run, everything needs to line up perfectly. No different than finding the person you want to marry on the telephone.
You know, when I take the bike out like this, all my stresses just melt away.
I hear that. This bad boy can fix anything.
Yep, tough day at work. Nice cruise will sort you right out.
When I'm riding, I'm not even thinking about my painful cavity.
Oh, you shouldn't ignore that.
And every time I get stressed about having to pay my bills, I just hop on the bike, man.
Oh, come on, man. You got to pay your bills.
You don't have to worry about anything when you're protected by America's #1 motorcycle insurer.
Well, you definitely do. Those things aren't related. So.
Oh, that is a vibrating pain.
For years, one company has battled to deliver business products the next day with no freight charges. Now, WB Mason, with their famous fleet of trucks and drivers, faces their biggest challenge, rescuing shipping and packaging buyers from expensive freight charges. That's right. Now, boxes, stretch film, and packaging tape are delivered the very next day at amazingly low prices. So, who do you call for fast delivery and no expensive freight charges? Who but WB Mason?
spend hours maintaining your gutters? Save that time with LeafGuard's maintenance-free system. Call 1-833-2-GUTTERS. Mesh filters sit on top of your gutters, building up debris and eventually clogging. Then they need to be cleaned too. Honestly, your home should have been built with LeafGuard gutters. LeafGuard's wraparound hood deflects debris and keeps water away from your home. The one-piece seamless system is strong, 20% thicker than average, and built to last. Plus, LeafGuard is guaranteed to never clog for as long as you own your home. Right now, get a complete LeafGuard system for only $99 down, $99 a month, and $99 installation. You'll also receive a $100 Visa gift card with a free gutter inspection and in-home estimate. Damage from clogged gutters can cost you thousands. Never worry about clogged gutters again. Don't wait, you've still got time. Call 1-833-2-GUTTERS today. That's 1-833-2-GUTTERS.
Hey fans, please join me and the All Rise Foundation on 9/9 for a special 99 auction. Proceeds will help kids reach their ultimate potential through camps, leadership programs, and mini grants that provide our future leaders with resources and support they need. It's amazing what we can achieve when we all rise to help one another succeed. Watch the Yankees game on Yes on September 9th or visit allrise99.givesmart.com for your chance to win incredible prizes for a great cause.
Chris Sheeran back here for the Michael K. Show, beginning with the win in their series opener with the Rangers, is brought to you by Montefiore Einstein, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. The Yanks opened up the scoring with this two-run double off the bat of Gleyber Torres. Over the last 16 straight games out of the leadoff spot, he's batting just under 300, with an on-base just under 400. Anthony Rizzo is 3 for 8 with a pair of doubles since his return to the lineup. This double here helps the Yankees to a 6-1 lead. They put up a 5 spot in the 6th to take a 7-1 advantage. And in the 8th, Giancarlo Stanton puts the cherry on top with the solo shot here, his 25th homer of the season, giving him 25 or more over the last 10 seasons. The most among active players, Mike Trout has 9 such seasons. Garrett Cole did lead the game after warming in the 7th. He had a cramp in his calf, which he said he wasn't super concerned with after the game. He will be reevaluated today. Make sure you tune into our coverage tonight for the latest. Cole fired 6 innings of 1-run ball in Texas and fanned 9 Rangers. Now he passes the baton to Carlos Rodon. And our coverage for tonight's game begins with the batting practice show at 7, followed by the pregame show, and first pitch comes your way a little after 8. It's the Yankees and Rangers in the second of 3 in Texas. Coverage beginning at 7 with BPTV right here on Yes, and streaming, of course, on the Yes app.
JZ41008219 sounds like a bot to me. Michael, love you, but you cover for the Yankees too much. It's nauseating. I would call in, but it would just upset me. You would call in, but you'd be dominated by my facts. That's why you won't call in.
I love
Junior Brown writes, you deserve a plaque in Monument Park for all the shilling you've done for this organization. Yankees need speed and contact hitting, not Alex Verdugo. Call in. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, because you believe that Jason Dominguez is going to steal 50 bases.
You, first of all, you know, Michael, that in New York, not just Yankee fans, but in New York, how much they love the homegrown guy.
I get it.
He's the Martian, for God's sakes. And Verdugo, I know he's been hot, although over the last 5 games, he's not tearing the cover off the ball. He's got 1 double, but you just threw some numbers where he's batting like 360 over
9
however
games.
many at bats. All right, 9 games. Again, I don't look at that as being, oh my God, I got to play him. But if they decide that, I understand those numbers. But you know, it's Alex Verdugo who's gone at the end of the year. It's his first year as a Yankee. He hasn't had a great season. He's batting .235.
They're not worried about upsetting him. They're worried about they think they could win with Alex Verdugo in left field.
But I can understand the fans saying, "Well, wait a minute. Why? Dominguez is the untouchable prospect."
But you keep bringing that up. That doesn't make sense. He's going to be their left fielder next year. Why would they have traded him? Didn't mean they had to use him this year.
But you can't understand why fans are like, really? There's no room for him because of Verdugo?
But there is no room because he'd be sitting on the bench.
Well, but that doesn't make it any sense either, because if you call him up, why isn't he your left field?
Because they think that Verdugo right now gives them a better chance to win.
But you don't see that upsetting fans?
I don't understand how they went absolutely ape over it. It just doesn't make sense.
Because they're not in love with, because anything Cashman and Boone do right now, they're going to jump on if they disagree.
But they acted like the Yankees didn't call up Mickey Mantle.
Because Michael, let's put the degree aside for a second, because it's social media, and you know how fans get crazy. Fans short for fanatics. So forget how apoplectic they were. Even if it was just a normal conversation, you can understand them being upset. Or how about this? You can at least them understanding disagreeing with the decision.
I can understand them wondering why did they make that decision. Right. But to say that they're incompetent, they don't care about winning. I mean, that was the narrative, that they don't care enough about winning. You think that Hal Steimer is spending $313 million because he doesn't want to win? It's asinine to say that. And for me, and to hit me with, oh, he's just carrying their water. No, here's what you people mistake it for. If I don't agree with your crazy stuff, then I'm a Yankee shill. How many times have I killed the Yankees? Don and Peter can at least back me up on that. How about 2 weeks ago when I said that they're awful right now, that they should have Austin Wells playing first base so he's in the lineup every day, that they should call up Jason Dominguez, and that they should bench Verdugo. You think the Yankees are pleased about that? So please take your shilling for the Yankees and stuff it where the sun don't shine, because I don't care what you say, and what you say makes no sense, and it shows you how infantile and ill-advised you all are.
Also, it's just fundamentally not really understanding what shilling. I don't know. Is it shilling? You're the lead announcer for the team.
No, because
it's not shilling no matter what.
You know how it is here. If you don't agree with me, then obviously there's got to be a reason, because I'm right. Like they're thinking, well, we're right, so Michael, the Yankee announcer, is siding with them. He must be carrying their water. Again, I don't agree with it, Michael, but you know that's the old, tired way of going after you. Is of course you disagree with us, Michael, because you're the Yankee announcer. But you just, I don't agree with it. But you just threw out the reason. He's played well over the last 9 games. They're going to ride this out. And you also doubled down on the fact that they believe in this guy, and they were waiting for this to happen. So they think he's going to have a big September. That's what they're betting on. But get ready, Michael.
No. But you're wrong. They're not waiting for him to have a big September. If he continued to hit 170, Dominguez would be up. For 9 games, he's hit 360. So they believe that it's happening.
But I'm not wrong, because they believe that, because you mentioned the Babbitt, that he's been hitting in tough luck. You disagree with it, but that's what Boone told you. So they obviously believe that this little hot streak is maybe what's to come. And now finally he'll find.
But if there was no production, they would have called up Dominguez. Right. But there's production now. No matter what Babbitt said, he's actually hitting 360 over 9 games. That's the guy you're going to bet. Because once you do that, you're done with him. You are done with him. And it doesn't matter if you hurt his feelings. He's not going to be here next year. They're trying to win this year. They feel that he gives them the best chance when he's hot. If he gets cold again, boom, you can call up Dominguez. Just because you don't call him up on September 1st doesn't mean you're not going to call him up. I don't get it. What's the hurry? People went nuts. Like they didn't call him on September 1st. They're giving up the American League East. With all the problems, as bad as Verdugo has been, and he has not been good in my opinion, they have the best record in the American League. I know that hurts for all of you to accept, because they should be better. I admit they should be better. Yeah. But they have the best record in the American League. And you can't wrap your minds around that. You just can't. All you want to do is say how bad Cashman is, how bad Boone is. But they have the best record in the American League. Isn't that what you play for? Isn't that what you play for? Now, if they end up sinking in September and then they don't do what they're supposed to do, then have at it. But so far, the decisions they've made have given them the best record in the American League. That means nothing, right? Nothing. They don't know what they're doing. Have they made mistakes? They sure as hell have. And I have detailed them throughout the year. But again, best record in the American League. Not good enough for you? Sorry. Peter, tell us about FanDuel.
Well, not if you're going to go.
The Michael
K Show on Yes is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more.
This is you, and this is your first hunch of the season.
It's parlay time.
With FanDuel, a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube TV will give you many more.
Buffalo. It's Broncos time. I'd take the over.
And you can easily act on whichever one speaks to you.
Eagles, Browns, Broncos, Bills. They all...
And make every moment more.
New customers bet $5, get $200 in bonus bets. Plus, every customer gets a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube TV. Only from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook.
This is the GMC Sierra, powered by the TurboMax engine, with the confidence of 430 pound-feet of best-in-class standard torque. GMC Sierra, it's the truck. Get 1.9% APR on select 2024 Sierra 1500 models, or current eligible GMC owners get over $7,800 total value. We are professional grade GMC.
Well, if you want my 2 cents on interest rates, we got options.
My 2 cents. This one's priced to sell. My 2 cents. My 2 cents.
My 2 cents.
My 2 cents. My 2 cents. Here's my 2 cents. I'm planning for the future. Interest plus interest equals more interest. Come on, now. You can drink that.
Hi, Joan. Perfect timing. I have a few questions.
Of course. Let's look at your plan.
Did you know 80% of women are struggling with hair damage, just like I was?
Dryness and frizz could be damaged hair that can't retain moisture.
New Pantene Miracle Rescue Deep Conditioner with first-of-its-kind melting Pro V pearls. Locks in moisture to repair 6 months of damage in one wash, without weigh down.
Guaranteed or your money back.
For resilient, healthy-looking hair. If you know it's Pantene.
Stay ahead of your child's moderate to severe eczema. And they can show off clearer skin and less itch with Dupixent, the #1 prescribed biologic by dermatologists and allergists that helps heal your child's skin from within. Serious allergic reactions can occur that can be severe. Tell your doctor about new or worsening eye problems, such as eye pain or vision changes, including blurred vision, joint aches and pain, or a parasitic infection. Don't change or stop asthma medicines without talking to your doctor. Ask your child's eczema specialist about Dupixent.
I was diagnosed at 65.
37. Earlier than most.
Every 9 minutes, someone is diagnosed with Parkinson's disease.
And every one of them can turn to the American Parkinson Disease Association. Visit apdaparkinson.org to learn more and show your support today.
Phone calls, but we had a lot of things to break down. Mets playing great. Dominguez. So we did a lot of talking back and forth. Hope you got something out of it. And also, one other thing I just want to remind everybody.
What's that?
When I do the games, I don't do a talk show. So when they don't call up Dominguez on September 1st, and I'm not ripping or advocating, why is he keeping his mouth shut? Because that's not my job. You want to hear my opinions? Tune into this show every day, Monday through Friday, on 880 a.m. at 3 o'clock. And then you'll get my opinions. Not on the games. Sorry, it's not the way it works. Understand the business. Clowns.
Oh.
The longtime play-by-play voice of the Jets is Bob Wischusen. Longtime friend of ours.
Yes, I love the man.
You love him. I don't know if I love him, but I do like him.
I'm not afraid to say it.
Bob, Don loves you. I like you. Peter has no opinion. How you doing?
What? I'm a fan.
So fan, love, like. That's what you got on this show.
You know, that's fine. Cuddle, hug, marry, whatever. I'm very, very happy that our relationship continues. Let's just put it that way.
Beautiful.
This makes me happy.
All right, so on ESPN Bet just now, the Jets moved ahead of the Bills as the favorite to win the AFC East. Mike Clay put together a list of all the NFL teams in order, and he has a prediction of the Jets beating the 49ers in the Super Bowl. Do you believe the team is that good, Bob?
The roster is that good. I really believe that. Now, will Hassan Reddick at some point join them and contribute? I think that probably has at least something to do with the speculation. But, yeah, I mean, I think top to bottom, I think the roster is that good. Is the quarterback going to stay healthy?
That's the question.
That's what it comes down to. That's it. If the quarterback stays healthy, then yes.
They absolutely are that good, and they absolutely can achieve anything. But this is a quarterback league, and we saw what happened last year when the quarterback got hurt. So they just have to keep him on his feet. He looks great. The practices that I've been to, I was at the Giant-Jet joint practice. I've been out there other times as well. I mean, I'm telling you, he looks fantastic. He looks every bit as mobile and, athletic as you would want him to look. He looks like he's ready to go. But again, you just have to make sure that that's the way he stays. And if he stays that way, then yes, I think the rest of the roster.
Just mentioned his camp. Look at last year's camp. I know he went down. I don't believe it was because he was 39 years old that his Achilles went. I guess we can debate that conversation. I don't think it had anything to do with how old he was. But other than that, I mean, he has shown you no indication that he has lost anything. He has had 2 good camps, and I don't. Other than the fact he's going to be 41, which is, I guess, is a thing, and it's the Jets, so bet something negative. I think really everything points to him being outstanding.
Yeah, that's kind of a 2 sides to the coin argument, Don. Like, an Achilles injury is an older athlete's injury. There is a wear and tear element to that injury, so age has something to do with that. But also an Achilles injury a lot of times happens because of bad luck, right? Like that was a weird play.
Right.
And it was a weird way that his leg got caught under Floyd. And so, so there's kind of 2 sides to that. Would he have torn his Achilles if the exact same play had happened to him when he was 31 instead, or 29 instead of, 40? I don't know. I mean, who knows? Probably not. But I'm not a doctor, and that's pure speculation.
Now,
but he looks great. I mean, that's all I'll say. All I can go on is what I'm looking at him when I'm watching him in practice right now. And right now, he does not look like he's 41, and his arm looks like he's 30. I mean, he is no-looking and zinging it everywhere. And, I mean, they've got all-pro level corners that he is throwing it past their ear at practice the way he always has.
The one thing that I'm not as concerned about, people seem to think he's got to stay healthy and he's got to get back to MVP level. But I think, probably the strength of the Jets is their defense, Bob. I say if he stays healthy and gives them the year that he gave them in his final year in Green Bay, that's good enough. I don't think he has to be great. Do you think he has to be great?
To win the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
I mean, like who won the Super Bowl last year? And they have a great defense. Like, the Chiefs have a really, really good defense. Maybe it's not as good as the Jet defense, but their defense is good. Patrick Mahomes is, the best player in the league, and he made everybody around him amazing. Like, I do think to win the Super Bowl, Aaron Rodgers needs to play at an incredibly high level. I don't think he can be, an above-average quarterback. I think he needs to be a star quarterback, but I think he can be that. But do I think that they can be a team that can win their division, win a game in the playoffs, be a wild card team, something like that, if he's just, has for him an above-average year? I mean, remember, an above-average year for Aaron Rodgers, statistically, is the best year that any Jet quarterback has ever had, and it's not close. Right? Like, look at the numbers. I mean, Ryan Fitzpatrick's the only Jet quarterback with 30 touchdowns. But like Aaron Rodgers on an off year throws for 3,400 yards. Jet quarterbacks have never thrown for that. On an average year, he throws for 34, 35 touchdowns. Jet quarterbacks have never done that. So, maybe he'll have a 40 touchdown season. He certainly has the weapons if they stay healthy and they protect him to do that. And if he does that, I mean, there really is no stopping them because their defense is that good. But I do think, look at last year's playoffs, right? We talked about, and they got criticized because they didn't have a backup plan that people thought was good enough. There's no backup plan for what happened to them last year, right? And even when you got to the playoffs, people pointed to Flacco as the example of, see, you can do it with a backup quarterback. Well, first of all, the Browns went 5-1 with Deshaun Watson. So the jumping off point was their backup quarterbacks were handed 5 wins. The Jets got 4 plays. The backup quarterbacks for the Browns had 5 wins. Right, so that's a pretty good foundation. Maybe the Jets would have had a different year if Zach Wilson had 5 wins in his pocket. When he came in to start, he didn't. But they also went through 2 other quarterbacks on their roster that were so god-awful that they sat around with like 6 games to go and said, oh, my God, we have no one on our roster that can play. Is there a breathing human being out there that can play this position? And we can go, what, Joe Flacco's available? All right. Let's throw that up against the wall and see if it sticks. And they brought him in, and he went on some magic carpet ride, and they won some games at the end of the year, and he became like the story of the season. And then what happened? They made the playoffs. Their game was a blowout by halftime, and by the time we got to the second round of the playoffs, the only thing that was left was teams with star quarterbacks that were healthy. Mm-hmm. So, like, that's the way it works. I mean, there are a couple of backup quarterbacks that kind of become, fun stories during the year, but the truth really is, if you don't have a star quarterback that's healthy going deep in the playoffs, you're probably not even making the playoffs, no matter how good your defense is, no matter how good the supporting cast is. That's just the reality of the league, and that's why they had to go get this guy, and that's why they went and got Morgan Moses. That's why they went and got Tyron Smith. That's why they went and that's why they shored up the offensive line, and that's why they drafted the kid from Penn State to be an insurance policy on the offensive line in case one of those guys got hurt, because they know at all costs they have to try to make sure that Aaron Rodgers gets through the season.
Will you almost have a certain level of nervousness, like holding your breath, Bob, that this thing goes to call this season? I mean, how big a letdown would it be if, God forbid, it happens again and we never get this Aaron Rodgers experiment? Can you even handle another year of that?
Why would you go there?
Sorry.
Why?
Well, because I'm a human being. Because I'm a human being, and these are the thoughts that exist.
That's not nice.
I know.
Yeah, but this we haven't even played a game yet, and already you've gone to the not nice place. That's not nice.
I know. And by the way,
this is his first appearance.
I'm hoping in my heart of hearts. I'm just saying, how much anticipation?
Are you really?
I swear to you, I am. Bob, do you think I really? You know me. I want to get to talk football. If the Giants are going to be pretty putrid.
Prediction? Don, what was his prediction?
He had them as an 8-win team.
Why?
Because I think he gets hurt.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, that's a knife to the heart, and we haven't even started. This is the first of 20 straight weeks we're going to do this.
But think about how satisfying it'll be when I'm wrong. Think about how satisfying it'll be.
Yeah, that's you twisting. Come on, that's your.
Are you? But no, seriously though,
a bad guy.
But seriously, Bob, are you you have to be incredibly excited? Let me put it that way. At the prospect of getting to call this guy.
I will be very relieved when he's on the field on Monday night for play 5, and every play past that. Yes, let's get to play 5. Let's get to a completed pass. Let's finish a drive. Let's get a ball in the end zone. Let's get through a game. Yes. I mean, I think there's that cliche that athletes use and we make fun of it, take every game, one game at a time. I think Jet fans are going to use that cliche this year. It really is one game at a time, and just keep getting Aaron Rodgers through these games healthy, protected, win a game. If they are winning out of games in the fourth quarter, Tyrod Taylor, go on in and finish the game. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Protect him and just realize you've got a war to win about each battle. And so I have no problem with that, with them approaching it that way if they do. But yes, there's no question. Of course, and every team holds their breath every time that their star quarterback gets hit and goes down in a funky way, because it's just, we call it the ultimate team game, and yes, there's 53 guys on the roster and a 15-guy practice squad, and we always say if one guy is one step off, the other 10 guys are all automatically wrong, and you all have to be in the foxhole together. What's the reality? The reality is the entire team really does revolve around that position and the health of that position. And no organization knows that more than the Jets because, you know, they have been searching so long for a solution at that position, and they know how good this guy is and what happened to them last year when he got hurt. And they now are looking at him, even in these joint practices against other rosters, and just seeing how good they look when he is out there doing his thing. And they've added these weapons and this protection around them. I mean, the sky's the limit for them. I think it really is if they can just keep them protected and healthy.
There's also one variable or unknown, whichever you'd like to call it. Could you tell over these years, is Robert Saleh a good coach? Is he good enough to coach a championship team? Do we know that, Bob?
I would say, in my opinion, yes. The things that I would search for to back that up are the number, like he had a team last season, just for starters, that was competitive in almost every game with not just bad, but like statistically, historically bad quarterback play. And they won 7 games in a year that everybody described as like a dumpster fire. They didn't have the first pick in the draft last year. They had the 10th pick in the draft. There were 9 teams that statistically or record-wise had worse years than they had. And they had a team quarterback rating last year, I think, in the 20s. So how good is this defense? And his DNA is as a defensive coach. And he has found ways to strategically kind of massage their way through games and around that bad quarterback play to keep in games, keep his defense playing, and keep them believing. And you know what? I have been around Jet teams, and Don was around these teams too, where there were fractured locker rooms, where you would walk into the defensive side of the locker room, and there would be guys saying, oh, you want to talk? Go to the other side of the locker room and talk to those guys because it's their fault. And that easily could have happened in this locker room over the last couple of years, and it never did. So, like, there was some drama, and, you know, Diana Rossini had that piece, and looked, I mean, there was, you know, I know there was some soap opera moments, there always are with New York teams, but this team never stopped fighting every single minute of every single game all the way through the finale and won their last game. You know, I give him a lot of credit for that. And I don't think any coach can be accurately judged until he is given a quarterback that can play. And this year he's got the ultimate quarterback that can play. And if that guy stays healthy this year, I think Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas and all the rest are going to completely flip the script in terms of anybody that has a negative opinion of them.
Now, you called an amazing game with the BC victory, and you're a pro, there's no question, but how did it feel to call that and be an alum of Boston College?
Well, I mean, you know, it's funny. We were talking to Bill O'Brien the other day. I didn't even realize this. It's been 15 years since BC has won 8 games. So it's kind of like the Jets. Like, it's been a long time since they've even been like respectable. So yeah, I mean it was a lot of fun to see them play as well as they did. But
oh no!
For a touchdown to make the game good. But yeah, they played great. So yeah, it was nice to see. Nice when your school has a program that you can root for.
Is that a shot at any of the 3 of us? You don't like Fordham, Maryland, or Ramapo? Is that what you're saying?
Well, Ramapo gave up on their football program years ago.
I was does Ramapo have a team?
I mean, I'm still proud of my diploma, Bob.
There you go. Look where it's gotten.
That's exactly right. We're all in the same space right now, right? Fordham, Maryland, Boston College, Ramapo. We're all sharing the same air.
Terps with a big 43-point win over the weekend, though. You know what I mean? Quality.
There you go.
And I just got listen. I don't want to go there, but as a Jersey guy, as a hockey guy, as a BC guy, that was Thursday was tough with the Gaudreau brothers, right?
Oh. We did a little tribute to the Gaudreau brothers last night, and I almost didn't get through it.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if people heard it on the air or if they could tell that I gagged for a second and had to gather myself. Like Johnny Gaudreau, if anybody ever met him, and I only met him a couple times. I've only been doing hockey now for 3 seasons, so it's not like I've lived it for the decade plus that he's been in the league, and really, really got to know him. You only had to meet him a couple of times to realize how genuinely nice a person that he was. And then you see, the Instagram posts of his wife with the 2 little kids, and then realize his younger brother, his wife is pregnant with their first now, and this happened. So it's just an unimaginably sad story. And, hopefully that whole family realizes that we are all just trying to kind of collectively wrap our arms around them, because it's, the whole hockey world, and then the BC athletic world, obviously, and the New Jersey hockey and athletic world were all just devastated by this.
Well, next Monday, Bob, you'll be back in the booth for the Jets opener against the 49ers.
Yay!
And I got to be honest, I will never listen to you this year because you're not on our station, but I know you'll do great work.
I'm going to listen because I have DirecTV, so that might be the only way I can consume the game on Monday.
And wait, real quick, by the way, you guys were really, really nice to have Marty on and say all those nice things about him when you had him on.
Well, it was easy.
That was really, really nice, because with his foundation and everything, and to give that a pop, too, because he does amazing work with that. So that was awesome.
Well, have a great, great year, Bob. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks, Bob.
I'll talk to you guys next week.
All right, sounds good. Is it wrong for me not to listen now that they're not on our station?
It's aggressive.
Well, you know me. I'm aggressive, Peter.
But how are you going to consume if you're in the car coming back from a Yankee game? Don't cut off your nose to spite your face. You gotta do what you gotta do. And I know they're no longer on our air, but
hurts.
We have a relationship with Bob and Greg and Dan, and we know Anthony Beck. He's going to do a good job.
Yeah.
I think you're a bad guy.
I'm a very, very small person. I think you know that.
Between this and Joey, it's been a difficult 4 hour and 40 minutes for you.
I'm sure I put you through the things I do.
No, you don't put me through it. I'm just saying.
Everybody.
The
people close to you.
No, I just don't want people thinking you're a bad guy.
I'm not a good guy. I'm not.
Yeah, why do you want people to not think the truth?
Yeah, it's the truth. Peter knows.
Yeah. So you think it's on the table that Michael's a bad guy?
Listen, it's all truth is in the eye of the beholder. It depends what you mean by bad, but the things that he's making you feel, those are things that he is.
Well put. Let's go to Danny in Long Island. Danny.
There he is.
Oh, guys, what a first hour and a half, man. I tell you, when we started this thing we call summer after Memorial Day weekend, it looked like we wouldn't have a single meaningless baseball game in September. The Yankees were going to be about 25 games in first place, and the Mets, well, Alonso was going to be gone. The team was going to be skeletonized, and they would just be playing out the schedule. But, man, has things changed in 90 days? That the fact that we're talking about both teams being right in the thick of it. Obviously, the Yankees are going to make the playoffs, but it's certainly not playing well and nowhere where they want to be. And the Mets have fought back nicely, and now they're right in the middle of it. And, when you go over the Mets, the wild card and chasing the Braves, 3 days ago, the Mets were 3 games behind the Braves. Now they're 3 games behind the Diamondbacks. 3 days from now, the Mets and the Diamondbacks and the Braves could all be virtually tied. So if the Mets continue to play well, and the Diamondbacks have to play Houston, they have to play San Diego a few times, so they don't have a cakewalk schedule either. So things change in a week in baseball. So if the Mets continue to play and the Braves continue to win, well, they could actually at this point keep an eye on the Diamondbacks. And the bizarre thing is, I'm looking through the schedule. How did the Diamondbacks go the entire month of September and not play the Dodgers? They're a team in their division. What are we doing here? I was expecting to see the Diamondbacks playing like 6 games against the Dodgers in the middle of September because that's your division rival. But no, we got to play other games against teams that are in different divisions and different leagues.
The Yankees don't play Tampa Bay and they don't play Toronto. It's a quirk of the schedule.
It's mind-boggling. But anyway, guys, you got us through the summer. We got a football Monday. Peter made it back from Germany. And, Mike, if you had half the energy at 9 o'clock in the morning to see Salvia as you had coming in today, spitting bullets, you could have easily made it to the lobby for a couple of pancakes. Because, man, you came in off the first day back in September, man. You were fired up. You brought it. That was one of the best hours of baseball talk I've heard on this show in a long time.
Well, thank you, Danny. But see, there's a reason for that. We thank you for the phone call. It's because I nurtured myself until about 11 o'clock climbing out of bed. It's very difficult. If I got up at 8 o'clock, you would not have heard that energy. This show and the game, those are the most important things. Not having breakfast with a friend.
Were we allowed to talk about nurturing ourselves in the morning when we get up?
Excuse me?
I was just trying to figure out what Michael was talking about.
I hope that Peter saved enough energy after his Berlin Bacchanal because he's got ENN coming up. A new
they were considering making that the new name.
Yeah, but what did it turn out to be? Berlin Bash?
The Bash in Berlin.
Trite.
It should have been the Berlin Bacchanal.
Yeah, that would tell.
Christian back here for the Michael K. Show. The Michigan Wolverines are champions for the first time since 1997, and Donovan Edwards gave them all the scoring they needed on his first 2 touches. Both 40-plus yard touchdown runs, and this one puts the victors valiant up 14-3 in the first. The Huskies had 301 yards of total offense. Michigan ran for 303. Between Edwards and this guy, Blake Corum, they accounted for 238 of those yards and scored 4 times, twice apiece. This Corum TD gave Michigan a 14-point lead in the fourth quarter. Michael Penix Jr. had a rough game. He threw 2 interceptions, and this one would seal the deal on a 4th down for the Huskies. He had thrown 2 picks in his last 5 games coming in and just 9 on the season. Michigan would add another score and win big 34-13. As we mentioned, their first national title since they shared the honor with Nebraska back in 1997. And it's the first non-ACC or SEC team to win the title since Ohio State, another Big Ten squad, back in 2014. Michigan's mantra last night was ground and pound, and you could see the stark difference in the running game that we talked about earlier. Michigan wasn't even in the top 50 in rushing yards this season throughout Division I. However, you wouldn't know it by the way they ran all over the Huskies defense last night. And Donovan Edwards and those 87 yards and 2 touchdowns on his first 2 carries. Unreal, which took a ton of pressure off J.J. McCarthy and the rest of the Michigan offense. And it gave the Michigan defense every advantage to putting the clamps on Heisman runner-up Penix Jr., who had his team averaging 36 points per game coming in, but were held to just 13, scoring 1 touchdown and just 3 total points the entire second half.
You don't think that was the point guard?
No.
Why? What did you think was better?
We said things.
He was very good, though.
But we know Mel's good.
I mean, but he's very good.
He's
I'm defending our points.
Spitting right in your face.
No, I'm just defending.
You two are drifting, and I'm glad about it.
What?
Really, I've been rooting for this for years.
You know, we're drifting. There's no evidence of it.
And then he didn't invite you to a party. And then he's happy about it.
He didn't invite you to the Andrew Gunling affair. You're drifting.
I don't want to bring this up again. I want to move on with our lives.
You know when people want to move on, Don?
When they know they're wrong.
When they have no answer.
But both things could be true. I could be disgusted with his lack of attempt to include us, and I still believe in my heart that he did not want us there.
Of course.
But I can get over it and still support him on the show.
Can I just say one last thing about that event that we're talking about? The day in question. It was when Natalie was in Argentina. So I was on my own. I was hanging out.
Free.
There's no world in which if we had all been working together, I would have snuck out the door and not said what I was off to do. It was simply because it turned out to be a Friday. We were all separate, and it was a plan in the city.
So you thought there was no way we'd say yes?
Yeah, it was like...
you know what? Then ask. That's all.
I hear you. Okay. Well, listen, duly noted. But I think you both could agree my logic was not flawed in thinking it was a complete waste of time.
I believe that you were happy we weren't there. You felt that we would have.
This is what I mean.
We would have harshed
I've
your
been rooting
mellow.
for this for years, and it's finally unraveling. I love it.
No, but you're wrong about that. We can have an issue.
No,
but not bring us down.
But I'm not saying it's going to bring you down, but I think it's going to be a divide, which is what I want.
That's, by the way, what great leadership. I mean, you really are. That's the kind of guy you want to
There
say quarterback.
There are people that actually do lead that way.
Yeah, I know. Some of them become
bad leaders.
It's
Governments
game
that
time.
are overthrown.
Brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey. The Knicks look to keep it rolling tonight against the Trailblazers, Don's favorite team. Coverage starts at 7 right here on 98.7 ESPN. And the Islanders host the Canucks with coverage also starting at 7 on 1050. Please become familiar with 1050.
You better.
Well, I would hope you would.
That's Game Time, brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey. During the big games this season, enjoy a Tullamore Dew, the original triple blended, triple distilled, and triple cask matured Irish whiskey. Remember, when it's game time, it's Tully time. Please enjoy responsibly. Ray in Baltimore. Ray, talk to us.
How you guys doing?
Good, you?
I got a question about Aaron. I'm hanging in there, trying to stay dry.
I hear you.
I got a question about Aaron Rodgers, but I want to preference it by saying he's the most talented quarterback in my lifetime, and I'm 22.
We're not going to agree. We're not going to disagree on that.
But if I would have told you that after he won his first Super Bowl, has not gotten back to another one, you would have called me a madman. And my question is, with all the controversy, the vaccine stuff, Jimmy Kimmel, if we have a season where we see him not make the playoffs with the Jets, could we look back on this Jets tenure, not only as a huge failure for the team, but something that tarnishes his reputation as a quarterback, like a top 5 quarterback ever?
No, you know what? It will not burnish his reputation, Ray, but I don't think it tarnishes. You can't take away 4 MVPs.
Real quick, the biggest problem with the argument, Aaron Rodgers is not going to be regarded as the greatest quarterback of all time. That is not because he's a nozzle. That is because he's not going to win another Super Bowl. And I'm sorry, as great as you are, the way that we seem to grade things in pro sports, guys, one championship is just not enough.
Tarnish is strong, but he came here because I think he understands the importance of getting that second one. Manning had multiple Super Bowls, Brady multiple Super Bowls, Aikman. If you want to get on that level, you need that second one, and that's why he wanted to extend his career. He could have retired this offseason and waltzed into the Hall of Fame. So will it tarnish what he's accomplished? No, but he would fail at trying to get to that next level because I think he desperately wanted that second ring.
In terms of accomplishment, he's not the greatest. Tom Brady's the greatest with 7. But in terms of arm talent, he might be the greatest. He's up there with Elway.
Yeah, I think and Marino. I think he's the most talented quarterback I've ever seen, but he's not going to be the greatest because I truly don't think he's going to win another ring. And my hope is just that we get to see him play another good season.
And the nozzliness, I don't think that affects his legend.
If he were to do something amazing, take this team on a real run, have like an MVP caliber season, especially, I got to be honest, now the legend might even grow. If next year, after missing this entire season in sort of the tragic fashion that it was, he were to come back and dominate again, it might even enhance the legend. I hope it happens.
The legend of ENN continues in just a moment. This year, it's time to finally lose that weight the safe and natural way.
It started when he ordered his brunt work boots. He's going on about how they're comfortable as sneakers, but he never takes them off. With his buddies at night, I caught him in the shower, and he just goes, "What? They're waterproof."
Brunt, the tools you wear.
To order lottery tickets. It's that easy.
You know, that really happened. I was in the bathtub and I was like, oh my God, I got to put my numbers in. And I grabbed my phone and
my phone started exploding with texts and emails from Jack Pocket telling me I won big. I still can't believe I'm a lottery winner.
How did I celebrate? I kind of did a little happy dance out to the living room.
Go to jackpocket.com to get the app and get your first ticket free.
We just signed the lease on our 3rd shop.
I guess we're a chain now, right? We've worked so hard to get here. My assistant went to customink.com to get our new uniforms and merch with all the location names. Our custom gear helps him get our brand out into the community. He takes care of all of our custom ink orders. He was able to find great products, upload the new art, and have boxes sent directly to each of the shops. Custom Ink makes it so easy. Get started today at customink.com.
Switch to Square and take charge of your business and your time. Switch to fast setup and even faster checkouts. Switch to making every sale, every way you want, and every way they want too. Switch to one system connecting every tool to every task, even as your business grows. Switch to taking control and taking more free time, whatever that means to you. Make the switch to Square today. Visit square.com to get started.
Guys, let's be honest. Buying pants sucks. It should not be this difficult. I'm looking for that one pair of pants that does everything. These just came in. They're the only pant from Fabletics Men. 4-way stretch, done. All-way stretch, you're going to feel the difference. The best thing about the only pant, honestly, everything. You almost forget about the deal that you're getting. Same premium quality as Lululemon, but at a third of the price.
Listen, we get that ordering a suit online can seem a little risky. That's why we have a home try-on program. Go to theblacktux.com/try. With so many good options, it might be hard to choose. We'll ship your selection to you to try out for 48 hours on us. When it arrives, put it on and make sure every detail's perfect. Once your 2 days are up, pack it back in the box, attach the free shipping label, and send it back to us. And when you're ready to rent for real, just head back to the Black Tux and make your order official.
What is that? Every bettor has a system. Make FanDuel's responsible gaming tools a key part of yours.
Mara, are you sure you don't want to go bowling with us tonight? Yeah, no.
There's my little marzipan. Oh, my daughter gives the best hugs.
We're just passing through on our way to the Jazz Jamboree. And we wanted to thank America's #1 motorcycle insurer for saving us money.
Mara, your parents are
exactly like me. I know, right?
Well, cherish your friends and loved ones.
Let's roll, Daddy-O.
Let's boogie woogie.
We all smoked in those days. If that was you then, get your lungs screened now.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Yes.
Oh my gosh, Laura Stiles just sent me an unbelievable video. An adorable orphaned baby wombat gets his bottle. Look at this little kid giving a wombat a bottle.
That's what Michael was looking for.
Great. What, when I said Laura Stiles sent me a video?
Yeah.
You know, you are such an accurate describer of Michael K. That's all I have to say.
Cookies.
That's right. Welcome back, Laura. She's back from her Thailand vacation. She was gone for like 3.5 weeks.
How did that work out?
Thailand. She loves Thailand. She goes like she used to go all the time. It's now been. It was her first time taking her daughter, so it's been 3 years.
How old's her daughter's 3?
Yeah,
that's sick.
How fast?
Yeah,
I've been to Thailand. There's a store in the Westchester Mall. They sell ties there. Thailand.
You know, I think Thailand would actually be up your alley.
No, it wouldn't.
It's relaxing. It's beautiful.
There's no shot.
Really long.
Zero.
2 long flights.
I'm out. I want to go to Australia. I won't do it.
20 hours. Australia's further.
Did I ever tell you Don's dumb story?
Farther.
What did I say?
Distance is farther. Thought is further.
Come on, get with it.
You are such a loser.
Now, a quick.
I mean, honestly, who cares?
I'm trying so you don't make these mistakes in front of important people.
I don't. Honestly, you're actually confused about how smart the important people are. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I'm starting to learn that you're
Thank you very much.
The Don Dumb story.
Right.
This is going back like 20
Love
years
Don
ago.
Dumb. He's a great guy.
My buddy Bill was getting
Related to Tom
married
Thumb.
in Lake George in Ticonderoga.
Right.
And it was a small affair, and he was going to have the rehearsal dinner at a place called Thai Pie. And I said to Nancy, I think we're in trouble. She's like, what? I said, the place is called Thai Pie. I said, you don't like Thai food? I mean, this is probably... And Nancy's looking at the invitation. She looks at me. She's like, we're going to Ticonderoga. I said, yeah. Thai Pie. It's a pizzeria.
Oh.
Now, is that dumb, Don, or just not thinking?
No, you know what? I wouldn't have thought that.
I wouldn't have
You would have thought it was a Thai restaurant, right?
I thought where you were going, it was going to be that you were pronouncing Taipei, Thai pie.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of things that would amplify your dumbness. That's not it.
All right, well, thank you. That makes me feel better.
Yeah, I think
Nancy thought I was dumb.
I think you're.
That's a story she still tells.
I think you're just fine. By the way, Don, tonight we're on the. We go to. I'm like I made fun of Don for how fast he blazed through Breaking Bad because it was insane. I'd never seen anything like it. The combination of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul to do them all in like what, a month?
Pretty much, yeah. Month, 6 weeks, maybe.
6 weeks on both.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. But I'm on the final episode of season 4 of 6 Feet Under tonight.
You're blazing
everybody
through.
dies in the end.
Please, but don't. What are you doing? What are you doing?
That's the most famous final episode of all time.
I honestly, Anthony, if you could dump, I would say please do that. Can you not? Can you not just do me a favor? Don't specifically ruin the show for my wife. It's one thing when he ruins it generically for people. Can you not ruin the show that we're watching right now?
How?
No, don't have the conversation. You're incapable of not making it worse. Don, am I wrong?
No, you can't make. Yeah,
you will only make it worse.
He will.
We did it recently. We had a Santa conversation.
When did 6 Feet Under?
It doesn't
mean you know he's watching it with his wife. You
and
know
his
his wife
first
listens
time.
and watches the show. It is the whole reason that you got to see it to the end, and you just
let's move on.
Hopefully, she's not watching or listening.
She doesn't listen to the show.
Well, I mean, she's on her way to pick me up though soon, so it could be problematic.
I'm sorry.
And you don't even watch the show, so you're a double bad guy.
Never watched it.
But don't be proud of it.
Yeah, I'm not ashamed of it.
Do you have any? You should be.
I am not.
But do you have any respect for me and Peter, like combined?
No,
sure.
And we both just told you it's one of our favorite shows ever.
Okay.
And it's an HBO. When does HBO ever get it wrong?
But Michael doesn't like good things.
But I'm saying is that
HBO got it wrong a lot.
When?
I don't want to name names.
What? Who's going to be
people in the sports business? Did shows that just bombed at HBO.
But I'm talking about their scripted dramas, Sopranos, 6 Feet Under,
White Lotus,
The Wire. I mean, come on, it just goes on and on and on. So,
like nudity, yeah.
So if you respect our opinion, you respect the product that HBO produces, wouldn't you say, you know what, Jody? Let's watch this.
No, I'm not watching it.
Well, but why? But hold on, real quick. Why? But why the tone?
Don't have the time.
What do you do?
I wish. I can't wait for you to have kids.
By the way, Mark, I promise you, I'm going to watch what needs to be watched.
No, you won't.
I promise. Don, how was Breaking Bad, Don?
It was terrific. I've got kids.
Oh, wait, Don, how old are your kids?
I'm like 6.
You have one only.
No, I have 2.
Oh, but you still finished the shows.
Yes.
You could watch a show.
The way you watched it was troubling. We all agreed on that.
No, I'm going to watch the Knick game.
But you're going to watch it wire to wire?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's
a show, I don't know if you heard of it.
Oh, wait a minute. It's the Portland Trailblazers. They're up 20 in the third.
I'll watch the whole
thing. You can't say, Jody, let's watch the first episode of 6 Feet Under, see if it's worth the hype.
No, I will never, ever watch 6 Feet Under.
But why are you saying it so indignantly?
Because it's not a show that interests me. Isn't it about a funeral home?
Yes.
I don't want to watch it. I don't like death.
But it's not.
To me, it's not entertaining. Death is not entertaining.
It's not just about. It's,
you know what, though? He's right. He can't do it. Don.
The show ended in 2005, and you guys are giving me a hard time.
It does
2005. No, I'm not taking this. I'm sorry.
But it's specific. I'm asking you specifically for my wife. For the specific thing that I've been sharing with her. Can you not intentionally ruin it?
I didn't ruin it.
And if you learned anything from me with Breaking Bad, like I almost wanted to break down when it was over, not because of the sheer brilliance of the show, one of the greatest things I've ever done in my life, but I said to myself, what kind of ignoramus took a knee on this for a decade? This brilliance.
Yeah, you.
I did, and I was sad for myself.
He doesn't care though. He's proud of it. He does. The man doesn't eat. Think about all the foods he doesn't want to try. He's good for a drama.
Do your show.
Say it now. I'm going
to say something to Peter that you should pay attention to. I'm jealous of you. I'm jealous that right now you're enjoying that show.
Thank you.
I want to be you.
Well, you can do it again.
And you imagine the envy I'd have for Michael if he started watching it for the first time.
Oh, are you kidding me?
That's what Gordon said to me at the beach bash. He stood there and he goes, I'm so envious of you that you're getting to experience Breaking Bad for the first time.
Did you watch Better Call Saul, Michael?
No.
You won't watch that either?
No.
All right, ENN is brought to you by Security Dodge.
So does it bother you that one of the greatest shows in the history of television you're not going to watch?
No, I'm good.
Wouldn't it bother you?
No.
And it's unfortunate. I hope that people could do a better job telling people about our show. Because imagine you telling a friend, I love sports. I love being entertained. I love hearing just guys who have a relationship, camaraderie, talk about their lives, make jokes, irreverent, but they talk about New York sports. You got to listen to the Michael K. Show. I'm good. But no, you just said you'd love. I'm good.
But he's a fan of television. What if I said to him, there's a ball player that's one of the greatest ball players ever to walk the face of the earth. Come with me to a game and watch him. No, I'm good.
I do that for a ball player.
No, you might say you're good on that, though. Depends on the player situation.
Go on with your show.
This is the show.
Guys, I'm sorry to report the Titans have fired Mike Vrabel.
I think it's a mistake.
A lot of people seem to feel that way. Vrabel led the Titans to 4 consecutive winning seasons after arriving in 2018, but they were 7-10 in 2022, 6-11 this season, and they've won 6 of their last 24 games.
But really, essentially, no quarterback. No offense to Ryan Tannehill, but come on.
By the way, I agree. Tannehill is not it. Is Vrabel appealing to you guys?
Yes, very much so.
Is he an attractive choice?
For who?
Maybe me.
Well, I think he is. I think he's a really good coach.
I'm not saying anything, but you'll be doing better than what you've had the last few years.
Why don't you guys just go after Harbaugh? But he probably won't go there because you don't have a quarterback.
Well, they will. He can pick the quarterback. And who has a better eye? Who has a better eye on what's happening at quarterback in college?
But you just heard
than James William Nathaniel Harbaugh.
Well, you know what would happen because you've got no luck. They'll hire Harbaugh and he'll choose J.J. McCarthy, and you'll be terrible for 10 years.
It'll be Steve Spurrier revisited.
I don't want a college coach. I never do.
He's not a college coach.
Well,
he took his team to the Super Bowl.
He did.
Listen, Jimmy Johnson was a college coach. You can get it right.
When I think of Jim Harbaugh, though, I think college coach.
That's your issue.
When I think John Harbaugh, I think professional coach. Have you guys really processed how sick it would be for the Harbaugh family if the Ravens win the Super Bowl this year? Which is definitely in play.
Yeah, but they've already won a Super Bowl. It's pretty sick.
But the same year.
Sons, yeah.
Same year.
For the same year would be pretty incredible.
Well, that same year, their sons played against each other in the Super Bowl.
You know what? How about that? That was something. And then the lights went out.
Who do you root for? That's when it comes into the.
Well,
who's your favorite?
See again and again the musings of a psychopath. Michael would say easy. You just pick the child you like better, whereas other people would go, no, you can't pick. Michael would go, oh no, you pick, and you know exactly who you be.
If you're the Harbaugh family, and John treats you much better than Jim throughout your life, you're going to root for John.
Yeah, but that takes the fun out of the conversation. If everything is equal, I would think.
Well, if everything's equal, you can't choose.
When Scott and Rob Niedermeyer played in the Stanley Cup Final in 2003, their mom had the split jersey, the whole thing, but she admitted she rooted for Rob because Rob didn't have a ring.
Who won?
So Scott.
Oh.
Now back to the coaching carousel of sorts. Wink Martindale, we reported yesterday on the show. Well, we didn't report. We reported what others were reporting. Was that Wink Martindale was resigning? Defensive coordinator
or had resigned
of your New York Football Giants. Well, here's Jordan Ronan on DNR earlier saying, well, that hasn't exactly happened.
The reality of the situation is Wink Martindale wasn't happy. He did not like what was going on in the organization. His relationship with Brian Daboll was completely fractured to the point where he didn't really want to return. So now we see the song and dance going on back and forth. Daboll going up there and Joe Shade saying the expectation he's back, firing his two right-hand men and the Wilkins brothers. There's other factors that go into it, like, Wink is under contract. Does he go elsewhere? Where does he go? He has not actually submitted his resignation yet. The Giants haven't actually heard from him since yesterday when everything started going down.
Okay.
So are they negotiating an exit strategy?
I bet there was a screaming match.
Between?
Wink and Brian. Had to be. After he fired the Wilkins guys, who we never heard of before yesterday, and unless you're covering the team, he probably went nuts and went in and screamed at him. So the assumption was, well, he's resigned. It's like when Larry David screamed at Lorne Michaels when he was a writer.
Right.
And came back the next day.
Right, just pretend it never happened.
Yeah. Kramer told him to just go back.
So you think that Wink, everyone assumed it's got to be over.
Right.
And he showed up, was like, it's not over, I didn't say anything.
Yeah,
I'm
because
still here.
he wants to be free. I'm sure that's the game Bill Belichick's playing. I'm not going to resign. Fire me. I don't want you to get anything from me. The team I go to, I want them to have that draft pick. You want to get rid of me? Get rid of me.
Beautifully said.
Now, with the report that he's going to resign, was it a misunderstanding like he's gone? And the assumption was, well, he was going to resign because he didn't get fired. But Wink's gone, but he's not going to go quietly, and he's probably going to sit down and say, we're going to figure something out here. And if we can't figure it out, then fire me. I am not going to come. I'm not just going to resign and forfeit my contract. Something's going on. I would think it's going to happen soon.
And then it becomes a game of chicken, where Dable probably doesn't want him. He doesn't want to be there, but he wants to be free to go wherever he wants and stick it to the Giants, take over for Matt Patricia in Philadelphia, take over in Washington, something like that. And the Giants don't want him to do that. So you might just have people that are staying together because of the kids.
I'll tell you guys, none of this feels like the Giant way that we know and love.
Nope.
This is not very Giant-y. Not into it. Real quick, good evening to Michael.
I mean, that's how we are all at the beginning of relationships, and then, we fart.
And to Michael.
You two are drifting, and I'm glad about it.
What? Michael?
I've been to Thailand. There's a store in the Westchester Mall. They sell ties there, Thailand.
Wow. Is this the latest we've ever done? Yeah. Don?
I like a good throw.
To myself. It was there all day and it just popped out.
Throwing to the national championship.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
You don't even remember the brilliance that comes
so much. There's so much. To Don and myself.
The Don Dumb story.
Love Don Dumb. He's a great guy. And the Michael and Don situation.
Go on with your show.
This is the show.
There've got to be 30 drops that are that exact same thing.
Let's hurry up and get the sports.
All right, I don't know if you guys heard.
I never really wanted to throw this baseball at him than I do right now.
Me?
I mean, really hard.
At me?
Yeah.
That
Just
one,
being you.
But that one drop really bothered Michael.
Which one?
The fart one.
It didn't bother me.
No? When do you want to throw the ball at him?
He annoys me. I mean, that's how we are all at the beginning of relationships, and then, we fart. And you know exactly what I meant. You're in your best behavior when you start dating somebody, and then all of a sudden you do Dutch ovens.
I don't think there's...
Depends on the situation.
There's slippage, but like Dutch ovens, that's
Dutch ovens is 10 years in.
That's deep. That's the beginning of the end. Here's Jimmy Kimmel last night. He had some words for Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers has a very high opinion of himself because he had success on the football field. He believes himself to be an extraordinary being. He genuinely thinks that because God gave him the ability to throw a ball, he's smarter than everyone else. The idea that his brain is just average is unfathomable to him. We learned during COVID, somehow he knows more about science than scientists. A guy who went to community college, then got into Cal on a football scholarship and didn't graduate, someone who never spent a minute studying the human body, is an expert in the field of immunology. He just put on a magic helmet, and that G made him a genius. Aaron got 2 A's on his report card. They were both in the word Aaron. I looked it up. This is actually a thing. It's called the Dunning-Kruger effect. The Dunning-Kruger effect is a cognitive bias in which people with limited competence in a particular domain overestimate their abilities. In other words, Aaron Rodgers is too arrogant to know how ignorant he is.
Now, one thing I'd push back at Kimmel.
Okay.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers did go on Jeopardy and just dominated. He's not stupid.
Celebrity Jeopardy.
I get it, but he won. His peers he beat up. Just ran through the questions.
Who was he up against?
I don't know. Jody won Celebrity Jeopardy too. You're going to say something nasty about her?
Well, who was she up against?
I don't know. I don't remember. I wasn't dating her.
Gallagher and
Carrot Top.
But
he also hosted Jeopardy. He's not a moron.
I could host Jeopardy, and I'm an idiot.
Aaron did say today. He's like, listen, I'm not claiming I know all these things, but I'm reading people who do. And I'm choosing to believe those people. That's what it is. So I don't think anybody is accusing Aaron Rodgers of being a doctor, but he's listening to alternative medicine. So is that so wrong?
I just don't think he's dumb. I just think he thinks he's way smarter than he is. But he's not a dumb guy by any stretch.
He beat Shark Tank's Kevin O'Leary.
Smart guy.
Don't know who it is. And who's the other one?
You don't know. The bald guy.
Mark Kelly, the astronaut.
Mark Kelly, he beat
an astronaut. No, I apologize.
That's pretty good. Pretty good run by him.
Hey, you don't send astronauts up into space if they're dumb.
I've never met an astronaut. They could all be morons.
How can they be morons with the stuff they have to do?
Aren't they kind of rocket science?
Yeah.
No. You could say they're rocket scientists. You could also say they're NASCAR
you're not going
drivers. They could be closer to Dale Jr. How do I know?
You're not going up in Blue Origin. Anybody could go on. These are astronauts. They run the ship.
Now, you know for a fact that in order to be a successful astronaut, you have to be incredibly smart.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah, I would bet that. I mean, I can't say I'm sure, but I would bet on the side of being really smart.
Now, I would say this too. Most quarterbacks are pretty smart too.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot to memorize. You have to know every single job everyone has to do every play and think very, very
And nobody's
quickly.
ever accused him of being a quarterback, with a 10-cent head. I mean, so I agree with Peter. You got to be smart of both, but an astronaut's an astronaut.
What was that, Anthony? You looked it up.
Looking it up real quick, it says that typically aspiring astronauts need to have a master's degree, usually in the STEM field, and 2 years of training, and pass the NASA physical.
That's light. That's light.
A master's degree in juggling is not light. It's hard to get a master's degree.
I know lots of people with master's degrees that are not that impressive.
In engineering, bioscience, or physical science.
Let's go over his resume.
Go ahead.
He beat an astronaut. He beat a guy who's pretty smart in business from Shark Tank. He won several days of Celebrity Jeopardy. He did get into Cal. They just don't let any idiot in.
But it's a D1 school. They give scholarships, correct?
Yeah, but just not anybody could get. Even if you're a good quarterback, you don't get to Stanford or Cal.
Sure, but transferring is easier.
But he's not a dunce.
No. Not at all. I don't. I'm not trying to even present that he's a dunce, but I'm not pushing back on Kimmel, who you agree with as well, who's really just pointing out he's overemphasizing the football thing to make a point, which is just that you're way too arrogant for your level of intelligence.
I believe that the Dunning-Kruger thing is a smart thing for Kimmel to say. He thinks he's smarter than he is.
But he is smart.
But he's smart.
Yes.
But 100% agree, but the smartest people that I know never spend time trying to prove it to you all the time. And he does do that a lot.
Yeah, he hangs on the rim.
But, somebody is paying him $1 million to be a guest. So, obviously, McAfee feels that there's something there. And then he gets hurt, and they want to have him on and have him on for an hour. So, but I'm not going to get mad at Kimmel either, because doing a monologue, it's about exaggeration.
Yeah, it's jokes.
You're
trying to get Pop a laugh.
And listen, he's obviously left leaning, but he just makes fun of Biden's age all the time, and everybody's up for grabs.
Here's Rogers clarifying his Epstein-Kimmel comments.
Unprompted, we're talking on our show, as we do, about a lot of different topics. Somehow the Epstein client list comes up, and I said there's an excitement to expose corruption. And what I joked about the other day about popping a bottle, there's excitement about when the corruption anywhere gets exposed, and people who are accused of these heinous crimes get exposed. That will be nice, that we can get this all out in the open. That's not there. So I made this comment on the show whenever that was last year. And then unprompted, he comes out and says that I'm an overly concussed wacko. In my opinion, it seemed like because I believe that there was a list and that there were names on that, right? And then we fast forward to this last week.
That's a reach, by the way.
And I said, a lot of people, and I'm quoting myself here, a lot of people, including Jimmy Kimmel, are really hoping that doesn't come out. End quote. That's what I said, okay? I was referring to the fact that if there is a list, which again, this hasn't come out yet, this was just a deposition, right? And there are names on it, then that would be the second time that a soft brain, junior college student, wacko, anti-vax, anti-Semite, spreader of misinformation, conspiracy theorist, MAGA, whatever other things have been said by him and other people in the media would be right twice.
But his initial assertion of Kimmel, that's why Kimmel was calling those things, was because he didn't believe in the Epstein list, I thought was a reach. I don't think that's what Kimmel was insinuating at all. I think he was insinuating that because of all the different things you've said over time and the random way that you brought about the Epstein list in a non sequitur, you ended up seeming a little, tinfoil hattish.
The whole point is whether you're for or against Aaron, he did not get his point across at all. Right? Whatever the point that he didn't resonate with the vast majority of people. And that's all Kimmel was saying is that now everybody has got him as a pedophile, and the people that are against Jimmy Kimmel were like coming out with fake lists the day the list came. Like, it was really an awkward situation. Now, whether Aaron intended it to be that way or not, it's let
me just be the first one to say I think that's how he intended it.
It felt like, you know what, he didn't, at the time he said it, he didn't seem too concerned how it was going to be perceived by Jim.
That will do it for ENN, brought to you by Security Dodge. Shop 24/7 at securitydodge.com during their Starting Something New sales event.
Jody, Celebrity Jeopardy beat Scott Hamilton, the figure skater.
Strong.
And actor Greg German from Ally McBeal.
Oh, you can only hope.
It was TV Personalities Night.
You can only hope to contain German.
We'll come back tomorrow, but Dan Gross is next on the Knicks. See ya.
That's a wrap on the show for today. Coming up next, the British Basketball League. For all of us here on the Michael K. Show, this is Chris Sheeran saying have a great night. We'll see you again tomorrow at 3 o'clock.